Mike, I got some good news.
Oh, what's up? What's up?
You've been traded to the Ravens.
Oh, okay. All right. So what do I gotta do? I gotta pack the car. I gotta pack my house.
What's up? It's StrongSide checking in for episode 19. We're going to talk about what the Cowboys been up to, just restructuring money left and right, but not spending it. What are we doing in free agency, guys? 72 hours gone. No linebackers, really? We're going to introduce you to Mansoor Delane. We're also going to talk about what the Stars been up to. Big sports brain in the house, Bob Sturm. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Forget it. Trade's off.
What the hell?
Trey Hendrickson's in, baby.
What?
Let me see that knee. Let me look at it real quick. We're back. StrongSide, episode 18 at the Haymaker Studio in Frisco, Texas. I'm Mike Marshall, the executive producer of D Magazine. He is Mike Palucci, the sports editor at D Magazine. We are thrilled to be with you this week. Thank you for hanging out with us. Hey, if you like this type of stuff, projects like this,
You can do some things.
and your guys bringing you sports talk frequently, go subscribe to D Magazine. It funds all of this operation. Subscribers are the lifeblood of our business, and we appreciate it if you'd subscribe to D Magazine and also the StrongSide newsletter that lets people know, lets our bosses know that you really like us, and we'd appreciate that from you. That's all we're asking for. The rest of it is free. No more ads. Nothing else on this episode besides hardcore sports talk. And we got Bob Sturm.
Yeah, dude who
in the
loves some
house.
hardcore sports talk right there. Blah, 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 blah. He loves sports. He's a fan. He's going to talk about all the stuff that we're going to talk about here.
Yeah, but smarter and in a better way because he does it every day.
With a great voice.
Yeah, he's
great
the best,
voice
dude.
for radio. Yeah,
So
we love
excited
that
to get
guy.
into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to get into some Cowboy stuff? You don't seem excited about
Not
Cowboy
that
stuff.
excited. I'm excited to get in the Cowboys. In a
Yeah,
different
you're
way.
excited. Yeah, but not in the fun way. They're
Excited to
doing
take-
things kind of. Things
Sure. Yeah.
have been done.
Yeah.
They have signed some players. They traded for a guy. Rashan Gary's one headliner came over from Green Bay for a future fourth-round pick. Jalen Thompson, they paid a safety.
They did.
Signed a couple other dudes. PJ Locke comes in yesterday. Tito, I'm not going to pronounce his last name, but he's yet another UCLA defensive. Yeah, he's just Tito. He's yet another UCLA defensive lineman. They've got four of them now, much to my chagrin. They don't like me. But you're not happy.
PJ Locke, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not thrilled.
No,
What's going on? How you feeling? Feel your feelings. Let's go.
These sons of bitches, dude. What are you doing, man? Why did we fall for this again? And what are you doing? And do you think the defense is fixed? Do you think that did it? Do you think it's time for feet up on the yacht after signing Jalen Thompson, who, to be clear, I'll talk about him in a minute, love him, and a 29-year-old Rashan Gary that's on the decline? Do you think that fixed the league worst and franchise worst defense? Or franchise history worst defense? Do you think you're done? Do you think that did it? What is wrong with y'all, man? Like, the only thing I can explain is that they own one phone in the whole building. And they can't call all these agents.
Yeah.
And to get a deal done, they got to get all four people on the phone. Will, you on there? Steven, you on there?
One of those Zooms where you got like too many people in there, and then you're worried about the meeting time running out because nobody paid for the premium Zoom. You're like, but
45 minutes.
we got 5 more things to talk about
They
here.
got the 45-minute Zoom.
Yeah,
And they used it.
yeah.
They used it.
Didn't get that corporate account.
They used it to trade for Rashan Gary. And they're like, damn, where's the rest of the Zoom?
Yeah.
Like, I, as an organization, wouldn't put it past them. They let their domain name run out one time. So, man, I don't know. Let's talk about what I'm happy about. Number one is Jalen Thompson. That dude is a legit badass.
Good football player.
Love that move.
Yeah.
Love that move. 320 snaps as a box safety last year, 249 as a slot corner, 389 as a free safety, versatility out the ass, just can play everywhere. Really, really good tackler. Impressed by
that's what he
tackling,
does.
man. In space, a thumper for a dude of that size, brings you down. You're not getting away from him. More defensive stops last year than missed tackles. 10 defensive stops, 6 missed tackles.
That'll play.
That is a badass man in space. That's hard to find. Some coverability, enough athleticism to close, and sideline to sideline situations. Christian Parker's going to love that guy.
Yeah.
Going to love him. Obviously, a strong recommendation from the secondary coach they brought over from Arizona, Ryan Smith. that's the connection there. And I don't want to do too many coach connections because that'll lead you to C.J. Allen at 20 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you start looking at the Georgia linebacker coach we got. But obviously a badass safety that can play everywhere. You obviously needed another one in P.J. Locke. When you do drop Jalen Thompson down to slot corner, other positions, you need somebody else out there, right?
Yeah, and, look, Malik Hooker can do some of that stuff. That's always been his thing. He can play high.
But if you want 3 out there with Jalen Thompson as your slot corner, you need some other ones out there. And obviously, Marquise Bell's days might be numbered. So you throw P.J. Locke out there, a cover safety, rotational guy. Malik Hooker is obviously limited at this time in his career. 1,000 snaps from an above-average, versatile safety.
Ain't fixing the whole plane wreck.
But it's good. It's good. I love that. Let's go. Rashan, I don't understand what we're doing.
Can I do the devil's advocate thing with Rashan Gary?
Go for it,
and really, some of my devil's advocate is shaped by the great Doug Farrar. He wrote an awesome piece over at Athlon Sports. I would recommend this piece. I retweeted it the other day. The reason it makes sense to a point is, look, I think the ideal, and I think what a lot of people thought, is it's Rashan Gary and an edge. It can't be Rashan Gary is the edge, right? I don't like this if it's Rashan Gary is what the whole thing hinges on. But what does this team have? They've got a lot of bulk in the interior. They got more guys than they know what to do with in a typical 3-4 base front. And as we're going to talk about with Bob today, 3-4 is kind of bullshit. It's really going to be 4-2-5 70% of the time. Everybody plays nickel. Nickel's base, right? What does Rashan Gary do in nickel? Because he's a 3-4 outside rusher who can't be your primary guy doing that. You drop it to a 4-man front. He's basically your strong side end. But he's a very good run defending strong side end. And Doug's point is, in the modern NFL, if you look at this Fangio defense, this is what Seattle tried to do this year. You got 4 guys on your line who are not liabilities against the run and can at least do some things to get upfield, which we know Quinton Williams is an interior disruptor. Osa Odigwezu, interior disruptor. You need a real speed edge. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
But
you need a couple.
You do, right? I'm assuming Donovan Ezraku is one of them.
Yeah.
You got to solve that problem. That is problem number 1 at this point.
Yeah.
But the rest of your defensive line is very built to be what a modern versatile defensive line is. Rashan Gary has always been weird because Rashan Gary, even getting back to coming out of high school, was a top 5 recruit in the country, 5-star badass in Michigan. But he wasn't the prototypical edge rusher. Right. He's never been that. He's always been a hybrid tweener dude who needs the right guy to use his skill set. Well, Christian Parker was in Green Bay. Again, do we want to make the whole operation out of guys who I knew you back when? No, that's just an evolved version of the Jones boys knowing dudes they want in their building. Yep. Can't do that. But I do buy that for this player who has a weird skill set, you need someone who gets the weird skill set. And Rashan Gary, if you are having this defensive line where you could put 4 down there and say, you're not rushing against me and I can get some pressure up front, that allows Christian Parker to get a little squirrely in the back end. Mm-hmm. That allows, when we talk about your boy Dillon Thieneman, to say, okay, well, or, a Jalen Thompson, to say, I can make the most out of these guys and get tricky on the back because I know people up front will not bust their assignments. And if you are asking Rashan Gary to raise your floor and not raise your ceiling, I'm fine with that, especially because the deal they inherited, look, that edge market blew up.
Yeah.
Jalen Phillips, on a very small sample, just got $80 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson, whose body was breaking at 24 hours ago, is like, Trey Hendrickson's not getting a deal. He got 28 per from Baltimore. Now, that's because of the Max Crosby thing. Mm-hmm. We get that. But the edge market got real ugly real fast. Rashan Gary's on $20 million or less the next 2 years, no guaranteed cash. So you're telling me, and I heard people say he's going to get cut. Well, why didn't you get an open market? Are you sure?
Right.
You sure he's coming here?
Yeah.
This team that can't negotiate very well in the open market, you're sure you're going to get him if people want him? And more importantly, if Christian Parker, and we have no choice but to be deferential to Christian Parker and assume that his plan is a good plan. If Christian Parker, who endorses this move, is telling you, hey, you got a weird skill set, but I need that weird skill set, and I can make that work for what I'm doing if you give me some other things, just trade the future asset to secure this guy, fine. I'm okay with that. Again, if that's the whole Planet Edge, this is a disaster. Yeah. But And right now it's a bit of a disaster because there's been no other Planet Edge.
I don't. Why all of the restructures? Why are you creating
exactly?
This
I agree. Yeah, if you're gonna inconvenience yourself this much,
if you can't get a single thing done besides signing one safety, why are you restructuring Terrence Steele? Like, what the hell are we doing?
The Kenny Clark restructure, they're doing that again, yeah.
What are we doing? Like, the worst part of this defense was obviously the linebacker core. And you swung and missed. I don't even know how hard you swung on Nakobe Dean.
In fairness,
and Devin
Lloyd. The reporting was that they were neck and neck on Dean. Now, whether that's true or not.
That and $5 will get you a mock.
Sure, and again, I'm willing to give you credit on that if you have a plan B. There's clearly no plan B.
No, the linebacker group is gone.
Yeah,
it is gone, dude. Like, Leo Chanel was the last one where I was like, can dream and like see something.
There's like a cool 40 minutes when it's like, hey, maybe Patrick Queen. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
And what bothers me is what bothers you, which is that, okay, if you don't have a plan B for the priority position, do you have a plan B somewhere else? If Tyreek Woolen is getting a nice one-year deal in Philly right now, when there's nothing you trust at corner right now, maybe you should have been in on that when you got all this money from your restructure.
This is an awful allocation of resources thus far. Maybe there's a Jordan Brooks trade down the road. Maybe they're just playing possum on Max Crosby, and he's actually going to be in front of Ezaraku on the other side with Rashan Gary as your bookends. Maybe, but right now, 72 hours into free agency, when a lot of teams that I would consider crap teams have substantially changed their bottom line in wins and losses by improving their defense. A lot of them not good teams that players shouldn't want to go to.
Yeah, you shouldn't want to be. You shouldn't want to be part of the Tennessee Titans revolution.
No,
and a lot of that Tennessee Titans revolution will fail. Like, I looked how much money they're dropping on people. They're handing out $24 million to Daniel Bellinger. I'm like, ooh, this is not going to go well for you.
Weird.
It was a weird, let's just sign some dudes. Let's let Brian Daboll be our shadow GM. It was
everybody
bad.
Saleh and Daboll used to coach that got them fired.
Yeah, whatever you think about what these guys are doing with knowing their friends, that was way worse.
Yeah.
I get that will age well.
Yeah.
But as Bob and we are going to talk about is you got to be comfortable missing a bit in free agency if you're going to really affect change.
Yeah.
And you can't sit there and cosplay activity and say we're going to restructure everyone. But we're afraid to lose on a deal.
Yeah. Why'd you restructure? Like, if you got the money to spend it. We're so far away from understanding what the number one goal of the Jones boys and Will McClay is.
Yeah.
Improve the damn football team.
Because you have 3 years of good Dak Prescott that you can bank on. Maybe not even that.
Above all else.
Right.
Do you feel like you significantly improved your football team to make it at least average defensively over the first 3 days of free agency? Nope. I'm a no.
Yep.
You added one really nice player and one player that I'm not sold on, and you gave up a 4th-round pick, and you owe him $20 million this year against the cap. Yeah, you can restructure that. I don't know how you do that. Would Rashan Gary have come here in free agency? I don't know. He had no money moving forward. So when they cut him, it's checks are over, bud.
Yeah.
So he might have just went and got a bag somewhere. And that's fine. That's his business. It feels like you just traded a 4th and have a $20 million cap number right now for fancy Jadeveon Clowney.
He's better than he is fancy. I'll give him that. I mean, listen, it's
Prove
better.
Me wrong right now.
It's better than trading a 4 for Trey Lance or Johnny Mingo.
That's
that going for
they're awful with 4th-round.
Yeah,
if their track record with trading 4th-round
it's not
picks
the best.
Tells you anything.
It's not the best.
Rashan Gary is not going to work out. But I understand Rashan Gary. He is a badass man. Like, he is a 6'5", 275-pound ball of muscle that does some really funky stuff off the edge and has had some really good years. Totally get it. He can't be the main rusher.
Right. And that's the problem. That's the entire
If you're not going to back it up with anything, like, even after Rashan Gary, I was like, okay, you need a 1A. You need a 1.
Right.
You don't have a 1 right now.
And maybe that was the plan. But again, if you didn't execute the plan and you don't spend the money anywhere else, then what? Then who gives a shit?
This defense is still ass. Like, it is still so bad, man. Still the worst linebacker core in the NFL at this exact moment.
I don't know what that.
And the corners are so soft and bad, dude. Like, the safeties, I'm okay with right now. I can work with that. We can find some way to make this work. The defensive front is all the same type of dude, unless Ezaraku gets more bendy and gets some pass rush moves that he didn't have last year.
Yeah,
it's all the same dude. It's for the same body type. Kind of power rushing you to death. And you're not going to be able to run against them. Do you need to be able to run the ball to whoop their ass?
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Not if the secondary isn't
Watch what
fixed in a
J.J.
hurry.
McCarthy did. You know? Like, this is just nuts team building at this point. And I don't know why you went through all this mechanics to get all this money, to sit on your money. What does it matter if you pay Nakobe Dean $15 million a year? What the F does it matter?
Yeah.
When you're there week 3 and you're like, damn, that guy's a good football player. Let's roll.
Would have loved to have had him.
Yeah. Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd. I know there's some reports out there Devin Lloyd isn't a great rah-rah team guy. Don't give a crap at this point. You're getting outbid, and players are picking teams like the Panthers over.
Yeah,
and the Raiders.
Charlotte is lovely this time of year.
It really is. No hate on any of the Carolinas. Stand up.
Yeah.
But it's just we're the bad team, man. We're the bad team.
It's like in The Good Place when they realize the end of its first season. It's like, oh, we're in the bad place.
Yeah,
It
feels like a Mavs free agency post title.
Ooh,
where it's like, oh,
that's painful.
I know you wanted Dwight Howard.
But
I saw you on Sam Dalembert.
The Haitian sensation, Sam Dalembert.
He can do the splits.
Yeah,
look at that.
Yeah,
man. And if they don't sign, I don't know what's up their sleeve. I don't know if there's a Jordan Brooks trade down the road. If they're trying to deal something else. I don't know, but free agency is out
I don't know
there.
if they know, and that's the real problem.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. They have one working phone in the building, and someone's calling their girlfriend on it right now, and they can't get deals done.
I know something. I know who I want the Cowboys to draft.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your review of the coolest name in the draft, maybe this side of
Mansoor.
This side of Monroe Freeling.
Monroe Freeling, the old Southern lawyer, play left tackle.
Monroe, how about you?
Monroe Freeling, pleased to make your acquaintance.
Southern lawyer.
Yeah, Southern lawyer Monroe Freeling.
Mansoor, the Monsoon Delane.
Yeah, the Monsoon, baby.
LSU. I've heard tales of his exploits.
Yeah.
Enlighten me.
Okay, here's the thing. The Dillon Thieneman breakdown, which he did masterfully, you had to do a lot because he can do a lot, and you have to explain why this goofy white boy safety really is worth a really early investment.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you a lot, okay? Here's what I'm going to tell you. However much we want to talk about Christian Parker's schemes, however much we want to discuss what Matt Eberflus did or what Christian Parker will do, what anybody else will do, you know what one of the things that's scheme-proof is? A dude who can cover wide receivers. Mansoor Delane covers wide receivers. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about any of this. He's 5'11", ain't going to run very fast, which is why he didn't run at the combine. My favorite thing, by the way, is everybody's like, it's the fastest tight end group ever. It's the fastest receiver group ever. Yeah, because more guys opt out than ever, and the ones who run know they're going to test well, so it bumps the average up.
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Yeah.
Mansoor Delane is just really fucking good. And I'm going to give you some numbers, but it's worth noting, the backstory here. This is not a guy, typical LSU DBU guy. This isn't your 5-star from somewhere. This isn't your Derek Stingley traits monster. This is a guy, came for the portal, did his first 3 years at Virginia Tech. Unless you're our guy, Zach Kreiser, rabid Virginia.
Why are you watching that?
Why are you watching that? Shout out my boy Zach, who has definitely been familiar with Mansoor Delane, is probably a little upset this year. Mansoor takes a bag at LSU, becomes a unanimous All-American at LSU, which, as a college football nerd, I like when you're an All-American. It shows me that you're really good and that everybody who pays attention to you knows that you're really good. But this is a guy who's not a traits freak. He's 5'11". He's about 190. 187 is what the combine rate was. I bet he's not going to have a really fast pro day time unless it's super juiced up, which happens, but it doesn't matter. The guy is just really, really good. I'm going to give you some stats now. Okay. First off, real easy ones. You know how many penalties he allowed last year?
Is he clean?
Same number as us, 0. You know how many touchdowns he allowed last year?
Probably 0.
Same number as us,
No
0.
one threw at him.
Nobody threw at him. Everybody was scared of this fucking guy because he allowed a 38% completion rate in coverage. Because this is my great stat here. I'm going to pull this up in the old Twitter machine. We're going to shout out a guy named Jack Bretnall over at Twitter.
This always goes well.
This always goes well because the phone locks, but I refuse to have the stupid laptop in front of me because I have pride, even though the machine's right to do it. So, yards per coverage snap in your final season before the draft. A guy named Jack Bretnall tracked this from 2015. Every first-round pick in 2015 through last year. The average is 0.79. That's a great number, okay? There were 4 guys who did better than that this year. A couple dudes at 0.7. Chris Johnson, who's rising up a lot of boards, is 0.6. Mansoor Delane, 0.4. Yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah. It's
real simple. You can do whatever scheme you want if you have that dude covering a receiver 1. And as much as we all get excited about Cooper DeJean, and as much as we talk about and we comp a Dillon Thieneman to that versatile type weapon, Cooper DeJean works because Quinyon Mitchell's there to do typical corner stuff.
Yeah.
To do I'm just going to cover that guy, and you do whatever weird things you do, and we'll make this whole deal work.
Yeah.
Mansoor Delane is the cover that guy, and we'll figure out the rest.
Yeah.
And if you have a terrible edge rush situation, and they're not fixing that at 12, and Mansoor Delane gets there, And I know I could stop the run, and I know I got one corner who I could just leave over there, and he's going to fix his side of the field. A smart, young, enterprising defensive coordinator like a Christian Parker could figure out a lot from there. Again, Super Bowl winning defense? No. But a better defense. Now, here's the coup de grace, right? This team, what we know about the Cowboys, they like guys they know. They like dudes they visit with. They've already visited with Mansoor Delane post-combine. Do you have any idea who recruited Mansoor Delane to Virginia Tech 4 or 5 years ago?
The Christian?
Ryan Smith, Cowboys secondary coach.
Right.
Saw a little clip where he's like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
So now Ryan Smith left Vatech before Delane got there. Delane of Vatech was not unanimous All-American dude at LSU, Mansoor Delane. Caveats, et cetera, et cetera. But there's familiarity with this guy. Lance Zierlein, who actually probably has the best track record of really rating these dudes pre-draft, has him as a top 3 player on his board.
Yeah.
But Dane Brugler, maybe the best mock drafter out there. Respect Dane a whole lot from The Athletic. He had Delane at 12 for the Cowboys just this week. This is probably on the higher end of the spectrum of prospect, right? You know, I as much as I want to talk about Sonny Styles, I probably won't even do that because he's never getting there to 12. Dillon Thieneman will be there at 12. Mansoor Delane might be there at 12. But if he's there at 12, there should be no thinking about any of this because there's not anything to think about. He's really good. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's not an athleticism-dependent player. You can't even do the Morris Claiborne burned us 17 years ago because he's not really an LSU guy. Just played there for a year. Turn the card in. Get it done. Don't worry about corner.
Yeah.
Because, will there be some of them there at 20? Yeah. Can you bet on one of them being very good? You might be able to, but this is as clean, as safe as it gets.
Yeah.
And this team needs uncomplicated defensive players so badly. Just he's real good. I don't have to think about that for a long time.
Yeah.
It's so obvious to me that this is the realistic band of amazing prospects that get there. Because I don't think Downs gets there. I don't think Styles gets there. The really exciting edges don't get there. I think he could. And if he does, it's over. Just 10 seconds, run it up, move on.
Yeah. There's so few. We're not used to a corner like this.
No.
This is
even when
J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, the second type of corner who I think, and those guys went too early for the Cowboys range whenever it was Micah year.
Right. That was the fallback plan. Micah was the fallback plan because they couldn't get either one of those dudes. Right. Now we're used to the gamble and high risk, high reward types of the Diggs and the Duron Blands. And those have their place, but this is just a don't bother me for 4 quarters because this will not end well for you type of thing.
Yeah. And it's funny how the better pass rush units in the league always have one of those.
They always have one of those.
They always have one, right?
Yeah. Does Nick Bonito look as good in Denver if Patrick Surtain's not there?
Yeah. Does Cooper from Denver look like a real pass rusher if Patrick Surtain's not covering for 5 seconds?
Right.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Can Christian Parker scheme up some pressure if you give him a little bit of time? Probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Delane's legit. He's been CB1 almost the entire season.
Yeah. I don't think anybody challenged
football season.
I don't think anybody challenged that.
No one really got close. People will put Jermod McCoy up there because they'll go, oh, that junior tape or that sophomore year.
Yeah, have fun with that, man. I'm not messing with
that's
that.
a knee recovery thing, and we're not in that window.
No.
Sorry. Like, he might end up being better, and it might be a superb player.
Can't do it.
No.
Not with this team, not with this window.
Give me the dude that lets you play pretty much however you want to defensively.
Yeah.
And that is a cornerback one that you just plop in there and you go, okay, you got him, you got this side of the field, you got this half or this quarter.
See in 3 hours.
Go do it. Yeah. They're probably not going to throw at you. So your other corner, whoever that ends up being, Duron Bland or
they're paying Duron Bland like he better be that corner. If they throw a lot
of Duron Bland, I know how that's going to work. Once every other game, it's going to go the other way.
But, look, I mean, you can, when we talk about all those Jalen Thompson slot snaps, well, what if Duron Bland's back in the slot?
Yeah.
That worked well.
Yeah.
And you can do that a lot easier if you are excited about Mansoor Delane playing the field and Siobhan Ravel playing the boundary. Mm-hmm. Again, you could sit here and poke holes in that plan, and I won't blame you. But there's no perfect at this point with what the secondary is. But Mansoor Delane would make it really, really pretty.
Yeah, teams do a lot of dumb stuff on draft night. They do.
And they get bored. And especially one of my maxims with this stuff is people scout themselves stupid. That's my little phrase. You scout yourself stupid, and you do it the last month.
Yeah.
You will hear somebody in the last 2 weeks of this draft get steamed up to oblivion.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my gosh, look at that tape. Because these guys have too much time to think.
Yeah.
Your first impression is very often your right impression. This is not a football thing. This is just life.
Yeah, you just need to turn it off right
And he is the type of guy, if you want to talk yourself into how he gets there, not a traits guy, not a dude who has that many flash plays because nobody bothered him, not going to test well, not big, just real good.
Yeah.
And that's how CeeDee Lamb slipped.
Yeah.
Just, okay, he didn't blow you in the 40. He's not big, but he got there way further than he should have. This could happen I could have Mansoor Delane, but what if this guy becomes Mansoor Delane?
Yeah.
The mystery box, right?
Yeah. Well,
so
I could see teams literally sitting there in top 10 going, I'm not going to draft the guy that's not the best athlete at their position.
Yeah, and they'll do it.
Someone will say that in a draft room, and then you're going to get Chris Johnson 10 or something like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because he's got size and he's going to run.
And it works sometimes, right? J.C. Horn wasn't supposed to go above Surtain, and he did, and J.C. Horn became really good. But more often than not, you fail doing that, and you succeed doing the Ravens-Eagles method of, that good player's here? Yeah, I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
and there are almost every other defensive player in that range that could get down there is more like, ooh, he could be anything, right? Mansoor Delane is just so understood, and doesn't even take a lot of imagination, and it could be so simple 2 years down the road that he's your number one cornerback.
He's the best player in your defense.
I'll resign him. I'll extend him right now. Yeah. Roll forward. It fixes so many problems for you. And the Cowboys, outside of like Micah, don't do that super often. I think Micah and CeeDee were pretty obvious, like, that's the best player by a mile, right? What are y'all doing? The rest of them, I'm like, why are you effing around with offensive line right now? You know, it's always big ideas, big dreams about this guy. They haven't been at 12 this high since Micah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so maybe it is. Maybe it is as simple as Will McClay gets final say. He gets to pick the dude, and he goes, this is the best player on the board by a mile. I know exactly what he's doing. Christian will make him an all-pro by second year. Anybody else, you're just stupid.
Yeah.
You're stupid for taking him right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's how it works. But he's
got to get there first.
I do fear that that's
right.
That's a lot of bad picks before you take Mansoor Delane. There need to happen.
A lot of bad picks. Yeah. So you know what? Maybe we do this in the next 2 weeks. We did the first two of guys we're really steamed up about. Maybe the next 2 weeks we do what's your contingency plan at 12 spotlight.
Yeah, just absolute, just
because
OS.
Everything went to hell, and nobody wants to trade up to
no wide receivers, none of the tackles go.
Yeah, and then nobody wants to trade up. What do you do? So maybe let's do that next 2 weeks. You do one next week, I'll do one the week after.
Yeah, that works. That works. Dude, I'm like, okay, if everything break glass in case of whatever.
Don't tell me now. Tell me next week.
I know. I'm saying, just like,
yeah,
because I don't think the closer you get, and I wish everybody could just turn off their scouting brain right now. Because you're gonna swerve a little bit, and you're gonna convince yourself of two different things before draft night. You know what I mean?
You get too much information.
Right now, it's like, I know who the good players are. Thanks, I'm good.
Yeah, I can stop. You can call me back in 6 weeks. We can just do this.
I'm good. Just stop filling in the diary.
Yeah,
the journal needs to stop. The journal needs to stop today.
Yeah,
because I know who the dudes are, but stuff's gonna get squirrely.
They will.
It's gonna get a little bit weirder,
and maybe they benefit, but they might not. And we'll throw a couple names at you next week.
Yeah, and there's
next couple weeks.
Also follow free agency. Follow what's happening. Why did team 8, 9, 10 in the draft acquire new running backs? I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, here's the silver lining for you. If you're worried about, what happens if the generational running back talent gets there? What do we do? He ain't
don't
getting
gotta
there.
worry about that.
Yeah, you don't worry about that one.
Don't gotta worry about that.
I don't think that's happening for you.
Don't gotta worry about that. We do need to talk about the worst case scenario possibility. I think people are gonna realize that this tackle group they're kind of fraudulent for top 10 picks.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, everybody's getting a little too excited about the guy who can't actually play tackle because his arms are wee band.
Yeah, and also the wide receivers. I love them. I think they're all first round worthy. I think at the end of the day, those scouts are going to start sitting around and going, top 15.
Yeah.
Top 15 for these guys. You're gonna do that. Okay. All right, okay. And then they're going to dig in further, and then they're going to try and make a point.
Yeah, they might. But we'll get there. What else? What we should talk about right now, though, is the Stars have been wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
Made 2 moves last week. Tyler Myers, that happened right around when we were recording. Big chaos draft.
Bigger than you think.
6'8" man on ice. They call him the chaos draft, which is the best nickname in town by a mile now. He came in, and then Michael Bunting came in. If you read Sean Shapiro's reporting, Sean telegraphed the whole move for you. Sean wrote a piece about how he talked to some scouts, and one of those scouts, actually multiple, kept telling him Michael Bunting. Well, Michael Bunting's here, left winger, does a lot of what they need in the middle 6 at that position. They're not healthy, but other than that, how you feeling about this thing, man? Are you feeling ready to roll?
I feel pretty great for the position they're in right now, which is obviously Rupe went down in that Avalanche game, and then Mikko's actually practicing. So that's a little bit ahead.
And Roddick Fox is also down.
Yeah, and Roddick, yeah. But those two top guys, your top two scorers in good seasons, if Robo's not going crazy, they'll be back at some point. Rantanen practicing makes me very encouraged, right?
Yeah.
Rupe, I don't know how long that's going to be. Just see you game one of the playoffs. But
yeah,
I don't think they needed a giant structural shift. We'll talk about with Bob of like what they were lacking and what they needed, how they needed to evolve this season. And it looked really funky the first half of the year. But we're here now, and we're on a 13-point streak. And they fought through a lot of BS. And I think it was almost more of a, not a let's have a remember the Titans moment and all like, pound our chests and do strong side, weak side and all that kind of stuff. And like have this like, kumbaya moment. But they needed to get nasty and gritty and be able to play any game. I think that's what Glenn was doing early in the season, right? And now we're to a point where they can play any game. And they can do anything, and they can put up with anybody being out of the lineup. And you're going to get contributions from, the super old, dusted Jamie Benn.
Yeah,
over a long
first power play goal of the season last night. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Dude's like my age, and he's just having him and his line are being remarkable, right? So Tyler Myers, that's fun. 6'8" defenseman, go up there. He's going to play every night, 13, 14 minutes, raise hell. Bunting, not an elite scorer, but, he's
point every other
effective.
game is what he's been doing this year.
He's effective. He's an effective winger that can play specifically when you are down a few. He can rise up on the line and fit in just about anywhere.
It's also insurance policy for Justin Mercoian, for Maverick Bork. Those guys hit a wall. They can't handle playoff pressure. That dude's grown-ass man. He's done something.
I think you didn't need a shakeup structurally. You needed a little bit of hey, we're going for it. We're locked in. Yeah. I see y'all. I'm bringing in some reinforcements. I trust where you're going with this. We are the right team. This is the right group of guys.
Which was a thing that also one of the scouts brought up in Sean's piece. Was like, it almost didn't matter what they did. They just had to do something.
Just needed something.
Right. No, and I agree. I mean, the roster has the pieces it needs. I also, really my main rooting interest, I almost was going to talk about this last year and make a whole like closing segment of a modest proposal of this. And then they did it. You know who Tyler Myers is skating with? Leon Bischel, which means that you have the Bash brothers on ice in 2026 NHL hockey. It's amazing because nobody plays with two gigantic physical dudes anymore, and these guys are trying it.
Yeah.
We'll see how those pairings shake out in the playoffs. That just delights me that it's just like, oh, you want to get to the goalie? Oh, these guys are going to ball you. No, I think you are feeling as good as you can feel going into this Minnesota-Colorado playoff gauntlet. And the big bummer if they don't win and go all the way isn't even really for me the fact that they stall out again. It's just more that like I don't even think like what could you really do at that point? It's kind of like they have the other two of the three best teams in hockey in their division in that they have to play, and that just sucks. You might lose to a team that could win the cup, which has happened to them before. That'd be really rough. So,
I mean their play and their style and their ability to put up with whatever BS has been thrown at them.
Yeah, they're mentally tough.
Makes me feel a little bit different.
I think the process is all there. And all you could do, unlike the Cowboys, the process is here every step of the way. It's here every year. If they don't win this year, we talked about this with Dick Castillo, that like they will be back. Mm-hmm. Even Tyler Myers' deal, they take him in. Yeah, he's older. He's 36. They pay a little more of a premium because 50% of the salary is retained. He's here through next year. So $1.5 million for a right shot guy who's your sixth defenseman who's a pro. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah. Even the little things, right? The Cowboys are here because they missed the big things, but they lost a lot of the little things. Mm-hmm. The Stars hit the little things. Yeah. I mean, and that's why, and the counterbalance to that was Michael Bunting for a third-round pick. Lots of guys were going for way more than that on deadline day. This was just really great. Jim Nill's the best at what he does business. Mm-hmm. You can't help but be happy about where they are and hope they're healthy. And then hopefully we're seeing some really fun 2 months of playoff hockey.
Vibes are great. Results are there.
Yep.
Just going to get better when Rantanen and Hintz are back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going arrows are
and hopefully that's the end of their bad injury luck. They've had it all year. Hopefully you get out of the way now, and then we see what's going on in April.
Well, the most fun vibes on TV right now is easily the World Baseball Classic.
Bobby Witt, man.
He's pretty good.
Bobby Witt is a dude.
Yeah, Bobby Witt.
To put it mildly,
been known for a little while.
Pride of Colleyville.
Yeah, been known for a little while.
Yeah.
I tried one of my last projects I was working on before I left WFAA. Was doing a story on him and his dad.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so I got to know just like the tiniest bit.
Yep.
But then got a different job. Started working with the Cowboys.
It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, Bobby Witt's a badass. I love the Randy Arozarena Cal Raleigh thing.
Yeah.
The little beef they got that was nothing, but it's fun.
I think people took that way seriously, and he's just clearly messing with his buddy. Yeah, it's weird.
So that's a fun thing that's happening right now.
Yep.
The Rangers are also in camp. I don't like that this is happening at the same time, to be frank.
It's weird.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of yuck to me. But Skip Schumaker has confidence that Josh Smith and Evan Carter be full-time players.
Mm-hmm.
Not strictly platoon guys.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the Rangers? Well, do you think this will work? Then what would that possibly working mean for the Rangers?
I have a lot more faith with Josh Smith than I do Evan Carter. Josh Smith hit lefties in 23 and in 24 better than he did righties. Last year, that wasn't the case. But there's a track record that he can do this. Now, in 23, there's a lot of, batted ball luck, right? Batting average of balls in play. It was through the roof. That wasn't the case in 23, though, and he has decent play discipline. It's not one of those things. The first sign you look for if can you hit a dude on your same side is what's the walk to strikeout rate. Like Jock Peterson had a weird fluky year where he hit lefties 2 years ago, and it was like the K rate was like in the 40s, and it's just like, all right, you got lucky. And that's not really the case with Josh Smith, and all he needs to be is effective enough to do it. And yeah, this has to work with at least one of them, because right now we live in the world where there are no specialists anymore. There's no lefty specialist. There's no righty specialist. 3-batter minimum is a thing. I hate it. I never liked it when it happened. I thought there were other ways to shorten games, which they figured out. Baseball is where the NBA needs to be in 5 years, where it's like, oh, we have a lot of problems. We figured out a lot of our problems. But this was one they didn't have to do, right? The Ghost Runner is the other one. So in that world where you can't really build a whole lineup now of just platoon-centric guys, well, you need probably 5 to 6 dudes you don't have to worry about. The Rangers have 3. It's Wyatt Langford, it's Corey Seager, and it's Brandon Nimmo. And Brandon Nimmo, in what he used to be against lefties, he's fine enough against them. He used to be very good against them. There's nobody else that I trust to hit both sides of pitching. So one of these two has to be that guy to a point. I'm not even thinking Josh Smith is going to be a star caliber hitter. I think your best case scenario for Josh Smith is a 2.5, maybe 3-win player, if that, right? A above replacement level second baseman who could play every day. And there is an argument to be made that when he's not shifting around the diamond, being a super utility guy, and he's sticking at one spot, that maybe he can do that. But there's actual proof of concept that he can hit lefties. Yes, this is a no-brainer. Let him do that. Evan Carter, man, I don't know. I think if you want to dream on anything, sure. He's not turning 24 until later this summer. He's still young. It's one of the weirder career arcs we've seen coming out of the gate, from World Series hero to just nothing since then. Some of it's been health. Some of it's been he's bad. I don't know. I think you have to try, because your farm system, as we talked about, there's nothing coming. There's no help. You have to make this work in a world where you're not spending money and you don't have things to trade from. So yeah, give the 23-year-old kid who has a good head on his shoulders, who has shown really interesting capabilities in the minors he has got crazy plate discipline. Maybe that'll work. Give him a chance. Why not? If it doesn't work, you pull the plug mid-May. Now, this is all well and good and easier when you have margins for error. And this team, as we talked about and we'll keep talking about, they have no margin for error anywhere, right? I don't know if they can eat an extra 60 bad at-bats of Evan Carter. That's how thin of a line this team is walking right now. But you kind of have to try, because the downside of it not working is, okay, whatever, we gave away some at-bats. The upside of this working is we have an actual solution somewhere in a world where we need Jake Berger to hit, and we need Jock Peterson to hit, and we need Josh Smith to be an everyday guy, and we need Danny Jansen to out-earn his deal, because Kyle Higashioka is going to be 36, I think. And we need the bullpen to do this, and on and on and on and on and on. So they need it bad. I think Skip Schumaker in his first year here is doing the right thing of, hey, man, let's try some stuff. I have lots of rope. You're not firing me after 1 year. So let's give this a shot, because my life will be a lot easier in years 2 and 3 when you could plausibly start worrying about my job if one of these two dudes is a real solution, if Ray ain't opening the checkbook anytime soon. So,
yeah, I mean, it's searching for a solution.
Yes.
At this moment, they don't have answers for.
No.
So can I produce one? Can I fabricate one?
Gotta try.
Can I develop one in Evan Carter's situation?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because just listening to the back half of that lineup, You explaining that I'm betting a lot of money on Jake Berger and Jock Peterson and all
Josh Young, who's 28 now.
Josh Young.
Everybody keeps waiting on Josh Young. It's 28.
Missed the Josh Young window.
It's over, guys.
When was that?
This year is really the last year you can talk yourself into him being anything more than whatever he will always be. And maybe that works. But again, a lot of ifs going on. So you have to try both. You gotta have some antacids ready. To me, I would do it until June. I would do this for 2 months.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll have the patience to try that. Zeke Duran hit a homer the other day. That hasn't happened in a minute. So it'll be very easy to talk yourself into Zeke Duran as another guy who, well, if Josh Smith can't do it, maybe Zeke Duran can do it. These are all imperfect options. To me, it's give them 2 months and then see. And if there's any signs of hope on at least one, keep going. And if the other one doesn't do something, pull the plug on it and platoon them. But, you got to try stuff.
Didn't have to be this way.
Did not have to be this way.
Really didn't.
No.
You could have gone out and found answers for your problems, but
no. Instead you're more focused on the statutes.
Let's just ask guys to do stuff they've never done before.
No, you know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to ask Bob Sturm to talk sports. He does that every week.
He's pretty good at that.
He does it every day. You know him, you love him. He's going to be on with us now. Let's get Bob in the building. What do we say?
Welcome back to StrongSide. I'm Mike. He's Mike Palucci, and we have an absolute icon of sports talk radio.
Dang.
Don't run from it.
Don't run from it, dude. You know how many kids out there are trying to be the next Bob Sturm?
Well, I'm honored if that's the case.
You're looking at one, right? I liked it so much I tried to make a career out of it for a while.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great to live in the toy department. You guys know that.
Right? It is. Beats a real job.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, man. Obviously, check Bob out on the tickets.
On
the
Sturmstack.
Sturmstack, of course. Go subscribe to that. Check out all his work. He can't sit still.
No, not a problem.
Anything else we need to promote? Cowboys podcast with Jubb?
Yeah, football friends. I think that's about it.
Okay.
My wife told me to start slicing off the side gigs years ago, and I sneak back in there when I can, but I've tried to consolidate.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Getting wise as we get older.
Yeah. We'll see how well it works. But you are a sportsman about town like we are. You like everything. But we kind of have to start with the local football team.
Yeah.
They're doing things. Things are happening.
There's activity.
There is activity. I feel like the bulk of the activity, though, concerns two names. It's Rashan Gary, Jalen Thompson.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them both. Which one were you a little more hyped about between the two?
Jalen Thompson for sure. Although I will confess, when it happened, I wasn't, quite prepared with his dossier. I kind of had to dive in. It's been a while since I worked with Monday Night Football, and we would do one Cardinals game a year. And I think the last time we dug in on him at all was like 22.
Yeah.
So a little time. But honestly, after a Monday night of Cardinals defense, I really enjoyed his work. I think he's a really good get, and he should be. I mean, it's good money. It's the biggest Cowboys free agent since Brandon Carr.
Most expensive safety edition ever.
Yeah, and look, this is an organization that ignores safety. Since Darren Woodson and Roy Williams, that partnership, and I think the Cowboys felt snake bit that the Roy Williams career did not age properly. Yep. Didn't really even get to a second contract, and his body was not right for the position, a biscuit short of a linebacker, all the stuff they used to say. And I think since then they've kind of ignored the position almost unlike anything else on the roster. And so I think you see that in the way they play. I think you see that in all these years of having an ordinary defense, and we're like, man, why doesn't Micah do more? Why doesn't Trayvon Diggs do more? And we get really frustrated. The Cowboy culture is, and I get it. It's 30 years, so I understand looking for someone to be mad at, but what I don't always get, and maybe this is just being deep in it, and other people have lives to live, so they're not gonna really try to understand it. But the way we blame like the top 5 Cowboys for the sins of the 53, it's a little bothersome. It's like we never truly appreciate the good players. And when they leave, it's almost like, good. We couldn't win with this guy. And then DeMarcus Ware goes and stars in a Super Bowl. And we're like, gosh, maybe DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't that bad. Maybe DeMarcus all the DeMarcus.
A lot of people suddenly appreciated DeMarcus Lawrence stopping the run in unglamorous fashion.
Yeah.
When nobody could stop the run last year off the edge.
Yeah,
or anywhere.
It's
for that
this
matter.
really weird thing where it's like, wow, who knew defense was an 11-man job and it's not a one-man thing. So yeah, I think the positions they've ignored have cost them at times, and so if Christian Parker's saying, look, safety's important. I want 3 on the field. I want my nickel to not be a tiny corner. I want him to be, like a hybrid, hit like a safety, cover like a corner. Who doesn't want one of those? And so I think Jalen can do all that. Kind of hid behind Budda Baker a little bit in terms of, who you think about. If in the event you think about the Cardinals secondary, you think about Budda Baker, but most of the time you just don't think about the Cardinals at all.
Yeah.
But the guy can play, and I'm optimistic about that. Rashan Gary is kind of his own adventure.
Yeah, let me dive into that.
Okay.
Obviously, you know more about the Cowboys than just about anybody, but your heart is in Green Bay, so you're more qualified to talk about Rashan Gary's career than just about anybody. Is it what I think it is, which is just like that slow creep into decline for a pass rusher, or is there more still there?
Well, there's probably more there, but what's happened to him happens to people all around the league. It's happening right now to Deron Bland, which is, man, it's great to have you on our team. How do we keep this guy? Well, we got to pay him a big contract. Once, like the moment the ink is dry, where he goes, in Deron Bland's case, from $800,000 to $24 million, he instantly. I mean, this happened to Tony Romo. The moment the ink dries on $100 million, you can't help but have your expectations of the guy alter to a multiplication type scale. Like, I now need 3 Deron Blands to justify what we just paid you. Like, we're happy you got paid, but you're not a $20 million a year corner. Everybody knows when you go ask anybody who follows the sport, okay, give me your 12 best corners. They're not saying Deron Bland.
No, but those are the people who get fooled by the PR blitz after
That's
Micah.
right. That's right. Yeah. And also, you can go to YouTube and find a Deron Bland pick 6 montage.
Set a whole record. Yeah.
And that's incredible. Right. It's just not – it's like a Grand Slam record. It's just not something that we're going to see very often.
Right.
So in both cases, really good players. Now, obviously, Rashan Gary was like a 12th pick overall, and Deron Bland was in the 5th round. But they were really, really good on their rookie deals. And then you want to keep them. And so now, in the case of Rashan Gary, I think it was a couple years ago, but it was a 4 for 96, I want to say. So instantly, number 1 pass rusher, number 1 face on the defense, pretty much all around. Jair Alexander was also there and also gone. I mean, The interesting study would be the guys who get that second deal, do they see the end of it with that team? Because in both those cases, the Packers are like, all right, $90 million for you, $90 million for you, and they're both gone. Just like Trayvon Diggs, and just like so many guys, and probably Deron Bland, if I were to guess. So now the expectation is it isn't just nice when you get 9 sacks. Now we need 9 every year, and we probably need 12. But now you've been in the league 5 years, I bet you can do it. And that's when any decline, any injury issue, any matchup issue, because now you're not under the radar, now they're game planning for Rashan Gary. So I'm not trying to completely justify his career, but I do want to say, much like Kenny Clark, he was a very good Green Bay Packer. Yep. Very good. He had some wonderful, wonderful years and wonderful games. The problem is when you talk about Tier 2 or Tier 3 pass rusher, what you have to accept is you're going to have quiet months, and not consecutive, but you're going to come across times in the season where he hasn't had a sack in 6 weeks. Now, at the end of the year, he might have 8.5, but during that month, you're like, bro, you're our number 1 pass rusher. What's the deal? And then you look at, you're getting $1.5 million a Sunday.
Yeah.
So, it's almost like it's the team's fault for paying a guy like he's a number one pass rusher when it's the closest thing you have to the number one pass rusher. I always think of Chan-Ho Park.
Yeah.
Like it's not Chan-Ho Park's fault that he's the best pitcher available, but not an ace.
Yeah.
And so the Rangers are like, you're an ace. See, we just paid you like an ace. Well, that doesn't make, so it's kind of that deal. I think Rashan Gary has something left. I really do. But I do think the biggest strike against him with any cheesehead is you're the number 2 to Micah. Week 7 or so, you're leading the NFL in sacks. What happened in 2025? And what happened is, obviously, pretty much nothing from counting stats. And there's bad tape where it almost looks like he's quitting on plays. There are coaches' decisions where they're taking him off the field for like Kingsley Enagbare, and that's a bad look on pass rush downs. And they were going to cut him.
Yep.
Now he knew they were going to cut him the second they traded for Micah. But you still want that tape out there, so the next team badly wants you. So in the case of Kenny Clark and Rashan Gary, really good players. But in both cases, the Packers plan to cut him. So how do you get a 4th rounder? That's a great question. But, that I assume they still have good years, but we have to recalibrate what a good year looks like.
Yeah. And throwing him into this mix, it looks like all the pass rushers are kind of the same flavor right now. Do you agree? They're all big, powerful 270 guys that are going to try and push the pocket rather than beat you around the edge.
Araku would be the exception.
Yeah, if he comes along. Yeah,
but he's also pretty green.
Yeah,
But I mean, in a base 3-4, which we need to make sure people are aware that a base 3-4 asks for a different type of edge, but also it's a 25 to 30% usage rate. So for the most part, the Dallas Cowboys are still going to be a 4-2-5. They're going to have 4 guys across the front in pass rush situations or nickel or 2-minute drill or whatever you want to call it, and then 2 linebackers run and hit guys, and then a nickel back and your defensive backs. And so under that model, it's fine. If you want Rashan Gary to play outside stand-up linebacker, I don't love it at all, but could he play like nickel edge, nickel DT? Yeah, I'm sure he can. He's a very strong guy, very powerful guy, and he does play hard most of the time. I don't know what happened in December. Like Micah blew out his knee, and everybody's like, man, maybe Rashan can save the season on his way out, or maybe play so well that we keep them both. Man, it did
not happen.
So bad.
He's got such a weird skill set. That's the other thing too. Is right. He's a victim of the NFL has to pay guys who don't necessarily earn market-setting contracts. He's also he's a weird fit. He's not for everyone. And so the optimistic case, and I'm more optimistic I think than Mike is okay. Well, when you're playing these 4 down fronts, and Christian Parker's whole idea is let's not get too crazy up front. Let's make sure we contain the running downs, and then we can scheme up on the back end and get saucy with it. Well, this dude as a nickel edge is going to set the run very well. When you have all your finances allocated in the middle of the line, I don't worry about the front 4 stopping the run nearly as much as I did a year ago.
No. I mean, honestly, everything they've done in the last 12 months seems to be geared to stop the run, which would really excite us if we were playing like in the Big 8 in the 70s.
Those Nebraska Cornhuskers teams, forget about that option.
I don't know if this is a running league. I realize there's way more 12 personnel. There's way more, balance. Put tight ends out there and then hit them over the top of the play action. I get it. I get what the 49ers have done and heck, right to McVay and right down the line. But it's still, in the end of the day, it's about a passing league, so you've got to get to the quarterback and you've got to trouble him because your coverage guys can't do this forever. And that's a huge question right now. Like, how are you going to get around that? And that's why Max Crosby was on the board, and to what extent we don't know. That's why at 12 and 20 you got to be thinking edges. There's a real void here, and it's very Cowboys. Very Jones boys, as I call them, to fixate on, kind of attributes of the 90s teams. So it's let's spend every first-round pick on offensive line and let's stop the run. And to quote the great Raiders of the Lost Ark scene, I believe they might be digging in the wrong place because they don't have the back of the headpiece. Staff of Ra, I think it was.
This is excellent. But okay, well, let's talk about the Staff of Ra here, right?
Sure.
So we know there's lots of work to be done at corner. They've done nothing so far. I don't think we have to talk about that yet. They did do things at safety with Jalen Thompson. We're getting PJ Locke yesterday.
Yeah, PJ Locke.
Are you of the mind that is a cromulent enough safety group that you can feel better about this, or in a good safety class with, I'm sitting next to a man who loves Dillon Thieneman like his adopted child.
I love him too.
Do they need to be doing something in April to augment this to feel good about that safety room?
Well, I think the idea in free agency, unless something crazy happens here, as the grocery shelves have been picked pretty clean already. I think the idea is to get your roster to a spot where you have NFL players at every position. And then the draft should be, let's keep an open mind on where we can find absolute dudes. And now I'm going to stay on defense. Yeah, I'm going to resist the Jeremiah Love question as long as possible.
He ain't getting to 12.
I don't think so. But I think you do have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah,
and you do have to play these situations out in your head to like, okay, if we want Calebon Chase on at 16 or 17 and CeeDee Lamb shows up, what are we going to do?
Right.
And they made the right call. And heck, the other guy on that board at the time, I think, was Trayvon Diggs, and he was still there at like 51.
Yeah.
So the draft is a funny thing, but what you got to do, and I think they've done it for the most part, is find NFL caliber players, maybe fringe starters, maybe average starters. I think Jalen Thompson has a chance to be slightly above average as a starter. And then we keep an open mind on draft day, especially at 12 and 20. It might be more prudent to trade back, but you need dance partners. But if you're sitting there at 12, I'd like to say I'll take the very, very best potential all-pro that I can find pretty much at any defensive position. Defensive tackle would be tough to stomach, but because I think I have a elite player there in Quinnen.
Yep.
And so otherwise, if it's a corner, if it's a safety, if it's a linebacker, if it's an edge, let's go. And then let's do it again 8 picks later. Mm-hmm. That's what I would think.
I'm with you on that. Further, even into the idea of like, don't give me a heavy rush end.
Right.
Like Doug Keldrick Falk.
Yeah.
No.
Good at 12, brother.
Right.
TJ Parker, good, brother. Sorry.
That's right.
Not my type now, right?
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I don't hate TJ Parker. And I also don't hate him as a 3-4 fit, but I get what you're saying, yeah. and I think you're right, is that they need twitchy edge.
We're going to have the biggest, slowest defensive line ever constructed by an NFL team.
And we're not going to get pushed around the run game.
And Derrick Henry, you're going to do nothing this time around.
We should
Sorry,
be able
buddy.
to deal with the tush push. If that's our design, I feel like we're way more fortified than we were like in the 2024 training camp when we're signing defensive tackles the third week in August.
Right.
Can't believe that didn't work, guys. Can't believe it.
So, obviously, I think the fans were – it's hard to tell what's fans and what's the Jones boys at this point of, like, putting narratives into the wind and getting people hyped up because they are masters of that. But obviously the bust, the budget, we got money to play with. Well, that was fun. And then you see them actually start doing the mechanics of freeing up all this money.
Right.
And we are about to be 72 hours into free agency. And I'll be frank, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think hardly anything's been fixed on defense.
Right.
How do you read what's happened?
Well, I read it as the very same reason they sat out free agency for 13 years is the same reason they're very bad at free agency. And just to elaborate a little bit, they don't like losing leverage at the table. And when you participate in free agency, you have no leverage. I mean, it is the phone call scene in Jerry Maguire where you are on the phone and they are making you make a big decision. You know, it could be a $100 million decision on this phone call. You do not have time to go get lunch. You do not have time to go for a walk and clear your head and think about it, and we'll meet here and then we'll meet again. Gentlemen, if you were not meeting in the build-up to free agency, that's on you. You've got to know. You've got to have one point man, not a committee. you got to have one guy that can pull the trigger, which is, of course, why so many of us want a general manager at some point, as opposed to the game of dress-up that we play.
Seems like a spreadsheet might be helpful, and I can't imagine them opening one spreadsheet.
No, and I think, honestly, what they probably do is they set valuations on all these players, which very smart, right?
Yeah.
How much are we willing to pay for Nakobe Dean? How much are we willing to pay for this guy or that guy, Jalen Phillips? And the problem is, if you haven't participated in free agency ever, we know what their first bid looks like when they have all the leverage, because we see it all the time.
Yeah.
We see how Brandon Aubrey sees his first bid. We see what Micah Parsons thought about his first bid. We see Dak Prescott. I mean, the list is so long. And in every one of those negotiations, which are painfully slow and frustrating and often end in divorce, what happens is they are comically lowballers because
that's what they do.
I'm landman or whatever you are. You know, whatever. I like to get bargains. Just the principle, just the joy of the fight. I like to think I won a negotiation. You're not going to win in free agency. You're going to overpay. So the question is, do you want to participate, or do you want to feel good about you never lose leverage? That's the simplest reason they don't participate in free agency is they don't want to feel like the agent who claims the Bengals just offered this and the Jaguars just offered this. Do you want the guy or don't you? And they're like, man, we were planning on paying Nakobe Dean like $9 million. Yeah, that's not in this conversation. The conversation is $12 million.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need you to either get to 12 or even go to 13 if you really want him.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. Now, in the case of Dean, the claim is their bid was right there with the Raiders, and they left a choice to him on where the fit's better. And I don't know why he would choose the Raiders. Maybe he just wants to not make all the Eagles fans mad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think if you want the player, you go to 13.
Get the player.
And now he's got a decision. I can either go to the Raiders at 12 or I can go to the Cowboys at 13. Man, I don't want to make the Eagles fans mad, but that's $1 million. Do you know what $1 million is to a guy who wasn't drafted in the first round? So he did play at Georgia. He probably knows what $1 million is. but just the concepts of we want to win negotiations does not play at all in free agency.
Especially because I think it's worth wondering, as distressing as that is, are we sure they even know how to do the negotiations after it's been so long, right? So it's one thing if you say, I'm going to lowball you. Well, you might not get the call back. But if you get the call back, are you prepared? You're comfortable playing it slow. Are you comfortable playing it fast? Are you comfortable putting the pedal to the metal and getting that's how this is, even if you want to swallow your pride?
I think the answer is clear.
Probably.
I think the answer is clear. They do not like that, and they being Steven and Jerry.
Yeah.
Now we can certainly. I'd love to look for like the team picture of who was in the negotiating room with Brandon Carr in 2012. But I imagine the picture looks different than it does today. I bet you there's different people at the table, and honestly, these are the types of things that you would feel better if like Matt Riccardi was the Cowboys general manager or Jim Nill, just guys who regularly talk to teams around the league. They get intel. They talk to agents. They do not – listen, the biggest mistake you could ever make, and you guys know this, is do that nonsense where you claim you don't know Micah Parsons' agent's name. So the disrespect to David Mulligetta, but how about the disrespect to the entire – industry brotherhood of NFL agents.
Yeah.
You know, and so if that's what you want to do, like if you want to like show Trump that you're just as good on an open mic as he is, and you know, and I assume that's appealing to Jerry. If you want to be that guy at the country club that is telling stories about how he didn't lose a negotiation, good for you. But it's not practical in the NFL, man. The guys who do the deals in the NFL, number one, aren't worried about losing because they get to leave with the player. And they're also not worried about being able to say in front of a camera, man, we got him. Yeah. You know, and that, you know, that's the thing. The DeMarcus Lawrence one is so troubling is the admission at the press conference that we haven't talked to him in a year. We haven't talked to him in a year? Like, what sort of client management is that? So that's a frustrating thing to me. I'm appreciative they want to be in free agency again, but you want to talk about a fish out of water. They want to go slow and deliberate, and the guys they're getting don't appear to have robust markets, and you can do that. Mm-hmm. You can do that if a guy's phone is rang once today. And you can go in and have your 30-minute Zoom call and take it slow and answer any of his questions. But, man, the teams that are all over it in free agency appear to be the teams that are throwing money around like there's no tomorrow. Are they going to get them all right? Of course not.
Yeah, the Tennessee offseason isn't going to age well, but they're getting guys. And, and it's also worth wondering, will any lessons be learned? Because if there's something that's been percolating the last year, it's that they've learned some lessons. The last year has been very different than the last 5, right?
Sure, yes.
But what's the lesson that they should learn in the last 72 hours? It's that by getting in on Javonte Williams really early, you got a great running back.
That's right.
And that should inform a lot of what they do going forward. Will it? Probably not.
No. I mean, the story of every single contract, and I've been doing this 28 years with this team, every single contract goes to the deadline. Every single one. Once in a while, they do an extension early, and they always feel like PR grabs. See Deron Bland,
everything
Tyler
after
Smith,
the Micah trade.
Right after Micah.
Yeah.
See Jalen Smith right after Zeke went to Cabo. Mm-hmm. They are very smart as massaging the fan base with here's a little surprise for you to make it better. But in terms of real strategic team building. They are stubborn, and they like having full leverage, and so that is why, to a certain extent, most of their business is done through the draft. Now, to their credit, they've added trades, some good and some bad, but again, in that situation, you're not on the open market where it's like Black Friday and the doors open and everybody's running down the aisle to get one of the TVs because there's only 12 of them. So. Yep. It's a tough place to be. What Carolina paid for Jalen Phillips is absurd, but they got Jalen Phillips, and I'm sure they don't care about the money. Yeah,
the Nakobe Dean one kind of broke me a little bit.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, all the bad teams have spent silly money already. He'll be affordable,
right?
And he'll clearly choose us,
over
some of these other teams that still have space. And I was like, the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. We're losing to the Raiders.
We're the bad team. We're actually the bad team.
Yeah.
F me. This is awful.
Yeah. I was committed to him as well. We had a chance to talk to him at the Super Bowl, and I, clearly there would be some risk because he's had trouble playing 17 games. Mm-hmm. And linebacker is a car collision position, I like to say, just like running back. For some reason, the NFL world has kind of come to terms with the running back career span, but they've never really done that with the linebacker career span. But as Cowboy fans, you remember how short Sean Lee's life was and Leighton Vander Esch's life and these guys. So you kind of got to get used to the fact that we need not only good linebackers, but probably lots of them. And, that's Dean, I think, would have been a perfect fit with Christian Parker. I bet you Christian Parker thought that too, but them's the breaks in free agency.
Yep.
Is there any possibility at this point for them to creep back to average defensively with what's happened so far? Let's say nothing else humongous structural. You get 12, you get 20 on the defensive side. Is that enough to creep back to average to keep them in games next season?
Yes, because I believe that Christian Parker and Matt Eberflus is a big upgrade.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
So I like that. I really like having a full off season with a clue. If you want to find out what the opposite is, it is trading Micah Parsons on the eve of the season. I mean, again, I've said so much about like the Luka trade and the Micah trade that it feels like people are sick of hearing it. But in both cases, I will say personally, and this is my view, not everyone's, but I'm not against the concept of trading somebody. I'm not married to any of them. They're special athletes, but there is a price for everybody, except maybe Patrick Mahomes. But there's a price for everybody. And if somebody is willing to hit that price, we can talk, especially if they're flawed in some ways, which they both had their flaws. Maybe not deal breakers at all, but there were things about Micah that were annoying and imperfect, and I'll leave Luka to the side here. But in both cases, it's how do you do the deal? And I do not recommend, sort of going rogue and calling one team and doing a deal late on a Saturday night. But I also don't recommend building your entire offseason, hiring a defensive coordinator to come build a defense around Micah Parsons and then get mad at Micah because he's doing some training table stunt to get attention. And you're like, last straw. I don't care if this kills our entire season. I'm trading him because he just disrespected me. Like this is a Sopranos episode or something. And I guess you made your point.
Yeah.
Did you? He got his money. Your season.
I don't think he learned a lesson.
No, I don't think he learned a lesson, and I don't think Green Bay regrets the deal, and I think your season stunk kind of because you did it to yourself. So if you want to trade Micah, March of 2025 or March of 2026 both make tons of sense because now we can really hold a great auction. We can make sure we're getting the full value. And by the way, that would have been here this year. There's no way Micah was sitting out the season. There's no chance. He could not sit still for 10 minutes if he was trying to hold out. He would have been in at latest week 2. And just because that's how he's wired. So he would play on the deal. He would play on the deal to have the greatest contract year you've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And then you would try to franchise him. And then you would end up trading him probably this month. Very, very Max Crosby-like. And I'm telling you, you would get so much more than what Max Crosby would get.
Absolutely.
And that was this year. If you would have done it last March,
forget about it. Yeah.
Do you get 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s?
Yeah.
I kind of think so. So to trade him the last week in August handicapped you so bad. You got nothing close in return. Your best edge rusher is like James Houston, who almost didn't make the team.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney doesn't really join you till the end of September. Like they were so catastrophically chaotic in every method for their defense. So when you say can they be the 20th best defense with the adjustments they've made, specifically Parker, a full off season, Jalen Thompson, PJ Locke, 12 and 20, both going to the defense. Otito up, giving me depth up front there. What else have I added? Well, I mean, a full season of Quinnen, a full season, absolutely. I'm not sure what we're doing at linebacker. But
don't worry about that.
But I would say absolutely. I do feel like if the standard is better than average, I'm going to need some playmakers. Mm-hmm. But if the standard is, can you at least get me out of the 30s and into the, let's say, low 20s? Yeah. Let me say into the middle third. Will you accept that?
Yeah.
So we have a 32-team league, somewhere in the 22 and up defense. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Let's talk about the ticking time bomb that exists over all of this, which is the rest of Dak's career, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You've gotten to witness some pretty special quarterbacks and how Green Bay went about prolonging those windows and how they'll, in A-Rod's case, is competitive right up till the end of that window. How do they do this? How do they use what I perceive as probably the last 3 to 5 of Dak in the most intelligent, efficient way where they can actually get out of the first round of the playoffs, still have a team that is somewhat healthy? I don't even know if they care about it being healthy after Dak's here. But how do you make this work at this point in an elite quarterback's career?
Well, the George Pickens thing is huge. We love to kick this organization, but to find a valuation on George Pickens and then to find a way to use him strategically with CeeDee Lamb, that gives you an incredible advantage against most teams in this league that can't keep up with you. So there's that. Clearly, you need the defensive side of the ball. So, in my opinion, I'm adding George Pickens to Micah Parsons. That ship has sailed. I'll get over it. The Quinnen Williams deal makes some sense, although I think a good reason why you do Micah is to have all this draft capital. They gave so much back for Quinnen to get an older player. And then the fact that they were ready to do it again with Max Crosby does feel like we're sort of making up the plan as we go.
Are you saying there's no process for this football team?
There appears to be many processes.
It's so fantasy football, dude.
Yes.
It is so fantasy football.
That's right. And sometimes these processes are arguing with each other.
Yeah.
And in real time, we get to see it play out. But, I as long as you have that quarterback and those wide receivers and what appears to be a pretty good offensive scheme, good offensive line, like I don't see a lot about the offense that scares me. Mm-hmm. There's a couple things that they should probably shore up. They got to figure out how not to run Javonte Williams into the ground by Thanksgiving. That would be good. And a few other things. They got to be more efficient with the way they cash in on their yardage. But I was pretty pleased with the offense and with Schottenheimer and all of that. So now the best way around this, in my mind, is to understand that you have a 3-year window. You have 26 to 28. You reasonably see 28 as probably the end because that's the end of your 4-year deal with both Dak and CD. Mm-hmm. So that's not too complex. At that point, Dak is like 35 years old. Anything beyond that is bonus, but we're going to have to figure out a way to not continue to escalate these deals to where you're paying them $75 a year. It's a great
void years into oblivion. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's how it's done. That's how it's done. Is you pick 4 or 5 years and you void year the heck out of your rebuild. You come to terms with, and it should fit really well with a very much an aging owner, is that, look, we're going to party until 2028. We're going to take some real serious swings, and then it's going to be tough to prolong it because we've pushed the stuff out. Now, the good news is by 2030, the cap could be $500 million.
Yeah.
Projections definitely put it up another $100 million in the next 4 seasons. It jumps $20 to $25 million a year. That's crazy, but that does give you help. I mean, I can't understand how we basically made capology, if you will, how we made it so complicated. Like, people are like, no, you're putting it on your credit card. You're not putting it on your credit card. When you use your credit card for a $1,000 purchase, if you look down there, there's a disclosure statement where they say if you pay just the minimum, you're going to pay us back like $2,700 or whatever it is. Like, it's insane. So you're paying back, 3x what you borrowed. Mm-hmm. In the NFL, there's no interest rate on void years. Like, if you are putting $50 million on the 2030 cap, it's just $50 million when you get there. It does not accrue. But
the cap has grown.
So
right. Percentage-wise, you're shrunk. Right.
Thank you. Yeah. So you're with me. Okay, I need everyone watching this to understand this concept.
An NBA brain, right?
Yes,
everything is a percentage of cap.
Yes, it is. And so $50 million in 2025 is let's say 20%, and $50 million in 2030 is half of that. And so you would rather pay against that cap. Now, again, you want your full cap every year. I understand that concept, but people have to understand you're saving money by void years. The Eagles are very, very shrewd in this. Now, the Eagles also are completely tapped.
Yeah.
So they cannot do this anymore with any of their contracts. And so their roster is pretty much their roster, which is why when they got Reek Wolin on a 1-year deal, that's impressive. They may have to let a familiar name out to make that fit, but they squeezed it in. And I don't know if you saw that chart where, like a month ago, the Cowboys could create $130 million in space just by restructuring. Yep. And people get that confused. Like, you have to, hey, Dak, would you be okay with it? They get no say. It's sending an email. Yeah. It's literally sending an email to save 130 against this year's cap. Well, the Eagles had $200,000. That's the Cowboys could create 130 million. The Eagles could create 200K, which of course is well below the league minimum for a player. So they have to say goodbye to basically every free agent that comes up for them.
Goddard's probably the highest one right now. Phillips left.
Yes.
Now Goddard.
Yeah.
Goddard's not coming back.
And that's that's their business, and they understand that's their business. Now, the good news for them is they have so many draft picks, both on their roster and forthcoming. They have way more than their normal allotment because they've been very smart about this. That's called a plan. And so when you're trying to come up with a plan, sometimes the best thing to do is to check the other guy's paper and just cheat. Like we know what the Eagles did. Now we should do what the Eagles did. And hopefully the talent we have is somewhat comparable to the talent they have. Now, that's true on offense, not true on defense, and that's why it's a little bit of a mess. And the Eagles, like we said, Jalen Carter's name is out there as a guy who's being shopped. If they don't have Jalen Carter, they elected to keep Jordan Davis. Things get complicated. So I realize I'm all over the board here, but I do think 26 through 28 is your window. And so every move should be based on that, which is why it does affect your draft. And in my opinion, the way it affects your draft is I need to sort of tabulate for now. And so
Akeem Mesidor looks pretty good at 20.
Akeem Mesidor now looks great for me.
Yeah, Jamal McCoy looks awful.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Right? So as we're looking through the discussion of do I want a 20-year-old who will be 25 when we're talking extension, or a 24-year-old who will be 29. If I'm using this 2026 to 2028, let's party now for tomorrow we die, I think I got to start saying I need my picks to be ready to be starters in September.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about an actually competent team. The Dallas Stars, they have a plan.
Yeah, man.
Plan at the deadline was pretty good. Tyler Myers is in. Michael Bunting is in.
Right.
The obvious presumption is they need to be healthy in April, but that would be good. Let's create a nice utopian environment that we don't have to worry about big injuries in a month from now, absent obviously Tyler Seguin. How do you feel about this team?
I feel great. I think we are seeing in this stretch a real conversion to Glenn Galtson's master plan. And I didn't know what that was at first. Like last summer when I talked to him, I mean, he was here. We knew Glenn Galtson,
right.
And then he went away. And when he comes back, there's nothing more eye-rolling for a fan base than hiring a guy who failed here before.
Yeah,
and just is. But what's weird about that is they would rather have an unproven guy. And Neil Graham was the name in this discussion. And I'm not here to say bad things about Neil Graham. He's probably brilliant. But he had never spent one day on an NHL bench.
Yeah.
Now, I've spent a day on an NHL bench when they let me be a fake assistant coach for a preseason game, which I'll never let go because it was like the greatest night of my life. But he had yet to do it. Now, I'm sure he gets the idea as an AHL coach, but my point is people would rather have a guy who's never been in the NHL than somebody who's failed.
Yeah.
And I just think that is counter to everything we do in life. Like, how much better are you at literally everything you do, aside from maybe basketball, every skill you've developed in life, you are clearly better with experience. You clearly learn
Failure's
things.
A teacher.
Yes, failure's an amazing teacher, except in sports where we're like, this guy failed. Yeah, it was 13 years ago. Do you think a guy's education in Edmonton and Vancouver and Calgary and all these places he's been, do you think that might have helped him learn some things? Learn what he did wrong. So I didn't know what to make of him. He said the things that appeal to me, which is I want a tougher team. I want a grittier team, and analytics people who are annoyed by my love of the intangibles in our sports. TW perhaps, but more things like in the NHL. I think it's obvious that playoff hockey is about, to a certain extent, skill, and to a certain extent, the amount of masochism you have in your heart. Like, how bad does this matter to you? Because if you give in right now in this game that's going to triple overtime, you can be on the golf course tomorrow for the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
So why don't you just run to the light? So soft teams die in the playoffs, and I think the Stars have been a very skilled team that has bordered on soft. And then everybody says, okay, well, let's go get Shane Churla. No. We don't want guys who just fight who can't play hockey. What we want is our guys to become a little more warrior-like and to play a style where if somebody hacks Rope Hintz on the foot, we come to his aid and say that's not okay. But more importantly, from an X's and O's standpoint, and to perhaps better answer your question, I'm excited about the way this team does not give up golden scoring opportunities like they have in the past.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, not to hit Pete DeBoer here, but we could do this with Lindy Ruff. Some of the better offensive teams have come at the price of you trade out great opportunities for the opponent, and you just hope you can live that. And what if you could get great opportunities but limit the other ones? And I think Edmonton was really good at that. And now I'm seeing Dallas is getting better and better at that, because when they're playing these games, even without Mikko Rantanen and Roope Hintz, you kind of see that their defense is delightful. And it's not just defensemen. It's the way the five guys are making sure the puck does not get to the most dangerous areas, and that they're, you know, everybody's more bought in their own zone. So I think that works. Of course, we do have the giant elephant in the room, which is they're in the most ridiculous division in hockey. And the voice in my head continues to tell me, painfully, I'm sorry, I wish I could keep it out, but they're so overdue for a one and done.
Oh.
Just because I watch hockey my whole life, and teams don't keep winning the first two rounds like the Stars have. Indefinitely.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying they beat Vegas in Game 7 2 years ago in Round 1. They beat Colorado in Game 7 last year in Round 1. And both of those games were absolutely coin flips. Mm-hmm. Even the Stars will tell you, we won this, but we could have lost this game very, very, very easily. And then you move to Round 2, and 2 years ago they beat Colorado in 6. This year they beat Winnipeg in 6. And so the way they get to the Western Finals, everybody wants to say, well, what happens in the Western Conference Finals? Do you know how hard it is to get there 3 years in a row?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
And so the fact that they've been this successful tells me that they're playing a little bit with fire. I do expect they'll get out of Round 1, and I do expect they'll see Colorado, but there is nothing assured, especially when the other side has Quinn Hughes in Round 1. And so it's a really good hockey team. The fact of the matter is 2 of the 3 really good hockey teams in this division will not be playing much hockey in May. And that's tough to swallow, but that's the reality of this format.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how locked back in. I mean, you obviously have to do this every day, so you don't really have a choice. But locked back into Mavericks basketball,
yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Right.
Just flatly. Like,
right.
I'm good.
Sure.
I'm good for a little while. You're in timeout.
Yeah.
Take a lap.
No.
How bought in are you for the Cooper Flag experience? And are you worried that this super awkward beginning is going to change people's perception of him and this team in the future?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because it's weird to describe my Mavs feelings other than you feel still dead inside a little bit, you know? And I don't feel that when I'm watching a Stars game, but when I'm watching a Mavs game, I am watching it. I am,
consuming it.
Yes. But I don't feel it, And I tell Corby this. I look forward to the time where a loss really bothers me again, mm-hmm. or a win really gets me going again. And that, it happens organically. You can't make yourself feel something, and I just can't believe that team that was in Boston and in the NBA Finals never had a chance to play out their future, because the entire thing was, let's build a team that works around Luka Doncic.
Trade the future assets to make sure you have that team around Luka Doncic.
So let's create this team. And it's like, oh my gosh, I think we did create this team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what if we trade Derek Jones for Najee Marshall? What if we add a shooter like Klay Thompson and we try again?
And in those healthy games early in the season, before Luka gets injured / takes the time off for the weight loss, whatever you want to call it, they looked real scary.
Real scary.
Really scary.
And so the fact that never played out is going to be something that we talk about for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just no way around it. So then to fall into Cooper Flagg is a hilarious part of this unwritten book, which no, I'm not. But
get back out there. Get back out there in those bad book streets.
I'm done.
I'll help you. I got some stuff I haven't said yet.
Yeah, well, I know you do, and I'm very interested. But just from my perspective, Cooper Flagg is special. There's no question he's as good as they said he was. There's no question he has a bright, bright future. And now it's their job not to screw it up. And I think step one to not screwing it up is to aspire to have a normal season next year. Now, that normal season could be fighting for the 8th seed or fighting for the 6th seed or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a championship contender year. But you need to have a year where you play 82 games of real basketball and just start to build your first floor of your new home.
Yep.
And the fact that you got Cooper Flagg to work with is miraculous. They need Derek Lively to be more than an idea. They need him to be a reality. They, I guess, are going to keep rolling with Kyrie forever. And if Kyrie is, such a old sage now that he's part of this Duke Mafia, then the young kids actually learn from him. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm one of the few people, I think. That's very narcissistic to say, but I guess that fits at times. But I'm one of the few people that thought Kyrie Irving would be great here because just politically or whatever, this is a different experience in Brooklyn, and I think you'll probably really dig the fact that
whatever you think, a lot of people around here think too.
Nobody can tell you what to do, man. and I think Kyrie's flourished off that. I think he's been a fantastic guy, and obviously everything in my brain says that a player of his profile doesn't age super well after the age of 35, but it's not like I have much better ideas. And so you take those three guys and some other decent players, although the year of P.J. Washington is weird. The Gafford year is weird. I don't even know what you have. This whole roster made sense with Luka, but now you're looking for something different. So
they don't know what. I mean, they're going to get something really good in this draft because this draft is loaded and their pick is good, but we don't know what position that player plays and how that fits with everything else. Cooper can fit around anything, but does a P.J. Washington fit around this? Does a Daniel Gafford fit around this?
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of a meandering thing, Mike, in terms of how do I feel about where the Mavericks are right now. And I think the answer is still numb. Mm-hmm. I really like watching Cooper Flagg play and figure it out because who doesn't like watching teenage geniuses play basketball? Mm-hmm. I don't feel any sort of "you're not my real dad" stuff with him after Luka's gone. Like I like the fact that he wasn't even here and he doesn't know anything about the story except what he saw from his TV. And so we can go on, I think. Some people can't. That's fine. I'll never care about the Lakers. I'm sorry. I hope Luka has a great, second act, but I'm still going to be against the Lakers. Yeah. And so
the American thing to do.
Well, I think so. And
that's half the sting to me.
Right.
Yeah. Not the Lakers.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. Trade
That's
them
where all the good players end up eventually. Yeah. Why'd mine have to do that?
If you make them an Atlanta Hawk, it's totally different.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, whatever.
But you got that, and it's just they need to just get back to normalcy. I think we're seeing a lot of it with hey, let's let some of our guys speak publicly. Mm-hmm. Let's not
tell fans how to feel when they're upset at us for doing the thing that everybody's going to hate.
Like the way they handled every step of 2025, right up until the day they're trying to win a game and shoot free throws to win the game, and the whole place is wanting to fire Nico. Like, he had to go. He had to go way earlier than he did, in my opinion. It would have been wild to fire him at the All-Star break right after he made the trade. But I mean,
that trade is just a down payment on your firing. You make that trade, you're getting bounced. It's just a matter of when you get bounced.
And it's a reflection of ownership not having any sort of quality control over their employees to a point where this could even happen. I'm sure that has been rectified to some extent. I mean, I really kind of like Matt Riccardi and Michael Finley as a dynamic duo. I'm trying to think
Matt knows his stuff, man.
Yeah, he does. He's very, very smart.
Big fan of Matt.
Yeah, and mostly, I mean, I know this is an intangible, but he cares about the Mavericks, man.
He's from here.
They both care about the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is, man, if that's what we want to know as a fan base, as a public, is that, you know, this isn't some scam. You're not playing all of us, and I feel like it's going to be hard to get away from that because that's what 2025 felt like. But anyway, that's like all of my answers. That one will be difficult to diagram, but
I'll ask you a simple question.
Okay,
now. What's the future of radio?
Wow,
I said easy.
I feel good. For me to get to the end of the road. I don't know. There will always be a place for this, for content about teams we care about.
Yeah.
You know, they will never get the fabulous sports babe or Tony Bruno or Bill Simmons or whoever to, you know, make us care about whatever team they care about. And it'll never happen. So I live in a city with some awesome teams and some great stories, and I like to tell those stories, and I like to argue about, you know, whether you should give Jason Robertson Mikko Rantanen's contract, and I like to argue about, you know, whether Micah Parsons should ever be traded or whether, you know, I like to argue about all these things, man. I want to see if Mackenzie Gore can figure it out here in this final stage. All these things, I get up every day and I have a natural curiosity, and I believe as long as I have that, there's a place for sports media and for sports content. Now, how you get it, that's a great question. I would like to think radio still has a seat at the table, but it will be people talking into microphones and hopefully saying interesting things. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I grew up on AM radio and now nobody under the age of 30 knows what an AM radio is or could find anything. And they're like, is that like a ham radio or shortwave? What are you even saying, old man? And, I don't
know if they know ham or shortwave.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, they probably don't even know those terms. But, I mean, I've been getting my radio through my phone for as long as I can remember. I don't use the tuner in my car, and I certainly don't have a tuner at my house. And so it's all morphing. I think it's up to the business departments to figure out how to make money and to avoid things like bankruptcy and so forth. But overall, I think for those of us who are interested in engaging in sports debates, there's a place for us, and that's really what I care about, and that's not going away.
Yeah.
I think the thing I've respected about you the most, just knowing you for, you know, a decent amount of time, is the curiosity and ambition.
Yeah.
Has always been there, no matter what show you were on, how well known you were, whether, you know, there's obviously some pillars at the station that are hard to get around, but it's like, those guys want to be the best.
Right.
And I see that, and I can recognize that because I listen to them every day.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, I guess.
Well, no, and thank you for saying that because, you know, the guys in this business, there are some incredibly talented guys, and I don't mean to sound like the walk-on from the scout team or something like that, but man, I can't let anybody outwork me. And you know, at a certain point, you know, for people wanting to get into this business, if you just start your day with like, I love this and nobody's going to work harder than me. Now, they may be more talented. They can do better voices, and they can tell better jokes probably, although I think I'm underrated in that department. But I just think that, you know, work rate translates to what we do too. It's not just about what makes a good hockey player or a good football player. If you got a nonstop motor, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to go turbo? Some quick ones? All right. These are all super, super fast ones. First one, if you had to eliminate one sport for a calendar year, football, UFC, hockey, or soccer?
Football, UFC, hockey, or
1 year you're not watching any of it. You can't read the reviews. You can't
disconnect.
Twitter is muting all of it for you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the UFC because sadly 2026 UFC does not have the guys who I have to see anymore. They need a talent influx too.
Okay.
They need a good draft.
Nice. Your early draft pet cat.
Mansoor Delane is unbelievable.
Oh, we're talking about him today.
I would love to get him. I would love to get Caleb Downs. I mean, these are obviously pie in the sky at 12. But if you want, just pet cats that aren't necessarily top 20, I hate to go chalk here, but Jacob Rodriguez is so fun. And boy, you want to talk about everybody trying to will a guy to Dallas. It seems
really
like people want Jacob Rodriguez there. And by the way, another guy who's like 24 who fits the window.
Yeah, you do stuff right now. Rank the 88s. Dez, CD, Playmaker, and Drew Pearson.
Wow.
Or Markieff Morris, if you want to throw him in there.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. Okay, Michael Irvin, I think, and I'm going to go back to intangibles. I think not only was he absurdly productive and difficult to play against, but I think he had added value of there are days where the team is dead and he's grabbing them all by the collar and pulling them into the war, and I think that has a lot to it. Boy, Dez or Drew Pearson and CD, gosh, I mean, they're all superstars. I love CD. I love how tough he is and how nobody even notices that about him. He's so tough, and Drew Pearson was such a game. This is the best one I've ever heard.
This is Bob, really flatter me.
This is a great one. I'm going to steal this.
Do it.
Okay, I'm going to go Michael, CD, Dez, and Drew.
Yeah,
but Drew's a Hall of Famer.
I know. I don't think everybody talks about Dak or Romo. I don't think Dez or CD is as much of a conversation yet, but that's kind of the analog that I've been thinking about lately.
Yeah.
Because I do think the Dez heights might be a little higher, but it was shorter,
Yeah, it was shorter, and I do think there was a little bit of Luka in him in that he had things distract him.
But he would also do things, and you're just like, how is a human being capable of that?
Yeah, and I need to apologize to Drew Pearson. He's a Hall of Famer.
Dez's last.
Dez isn't going to the Hall of Fame.
He's not, no.
So yeah, you gotta get Drew Pearson above him. I think CD will have a better career than both of them, though.
I think that's right.
I think CD's amazing.
Interesting. Okay, Brett Hull is your favorite hockey player of all time. Still,
yeah,
right? Okay. What kind of numbers would Brett Hull put up in 2026 juiced up NHL in a season?
I mean, what's crazy is when I talk about Jason Robertson, I say his comp in a way is Brett Hull. He's not the same. Brett scored 92 in a season, or 86, excuse me. But obviously he's unbelievable. Robertson's like a poor man's Brett. And both of them are held back because of speed and physicality. You got to have one or the other, preferably both, which is why I like
Mika Rantanen.
Yeah.
Rantanen, yeah.
Brady Tkachuk is actually speed and and skill, but not on that level. Gosh, I think he would be fine, but it would be very much a power play merchant. He could score, but the sport is so much faster. I don't know that he would ever break 70, but obviously he's Brett Hull. And so what Brett Hull could do, and you guys have heard this, but he could fly under the radar the whole game. and then get you the goal at the end to win it. And that's a real, real trick. And we should not delude ourselves into thinking goals aren't important in hockey.
Yeah.
So
that's what they play them for.
Yeah, that's why they play them.
Yeah.
What's wild is Brett Hull, my favorite player, but also a profile that I'm not actually drawn to in terms of the way he plays.
Yeah, that's weird for you, knowing you.
Yeah. I think that's like childhood warms and fuzzies affecting my judgment.
Well, and like appreciating the opposite of your own character.
That's
right.
Like
that's
right.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic made 5 All-NBA first teams in his 6 years in Dallas. How many is Cooper Flagg making his first 6 years in Dallas? I'm asking you tough ones today.
I would say the over-under's got to be like 2.5, right?
I mean, I forget who we asked this to before, and they made the very good point that it's not crazy if you just say 1. 1 would be really good.
1 would be
which
amazing.
is why,
first team All-NBA.
Yeah, which is why, whenever anybody talks about, tries to denigrate the Luka thing, I'm like, look, 5 all first team NBAs in 6 years.
That's
I don't care.
Insane.
Yeah,
like
nobody appreciated it then. Nobody will appreciate it now.
No, because then we have to talk about what he can't do or what he hasn't done.
Right. So even if if it's 2.5,
maybe it's 1.5 is the over under.
Yeah.
Maybe. And and the under, if it's 1, that's fine.
I'm going to get real crazy and say 2.
Okay.
But I think 2 is a crazy high number.
2's a big win.
Demonstrate what 5 is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Favorite ticket moment.
Whew.
Wow. I still can't believe that we filled Reunion Arena for a hockey game.
Yeah.
So the charity challenge, the tape's out there somewhere. We were close enough to a sellout. I don't know if every seat was full, probably not. But we played a charity hockey game for 7 years. For people that don't know, well, the first year was before I got here. So let's say 98 to about 04, 05. It's a Ken Hitchcock idea saying you guys at the ticket should play a hockey game. And like the third or fourth one was at Reunion, and it was a full house. And then we did 1 or 2 at the new place, and it was still lots and lots, like 12,000, 13,000 people. I remember a Reunion, it was a really close game, and there were 2 moments where you actually caught yourself like feeling like this might be what it's like to be a professional. And the first one was like they did the entire game presentation the same way, and they're playing AC/DC's Thunderstruck right before they drop the puck to start the third period. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they do that at Stars game. And you're lining up for the faceoff and you're feeling that, and it's so crazy. And then the other one was another stoppage in play, and you're just sort of skating around the back of the goal, and you look over and you're like, I can't believe Brett Hull and Mike Modano are sitting in the first row watching us play. Now, I don't know how closely they were watching us, but I'm untying my skates after the game and in the Stars locker room, and I look up because somebody's got a Sharpie and a puck in front of me, and it's Brett Hull asking for me to sign a puck for him.
That's awesome.
And hilariously, later that season, our old friend Expo actually saw it displayed in Hull's locker and took a picture of it. And so that's like the obviously
you peaked.
What a game of dress up. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a million great moments. That place has been so good to me. Obviously, I'm very, very happy to bat 8th for the Yankees and just hold your own and survive and keep going. But I'm incredibly thankful that of all the places that hire you, it's like this institution that most of our roster in 2026 was our roster when I got here in 1998, which is obviously absurd.
Yeah,
we should stop there because it's very feel good. But we're not going to be off the hook if I don't ask you this last question.
Yeah,
fill in the blank with the 12th and 20th picks in the NFL draft. The Dallas Cowboys select these 2 players.
Man, I think what would make me really, really happy would be the corner at 12 from LSU, which I think is probably about a 45% chance he's even
Dane
there.
Brugler mocked him there.
Still?
The most recent one.
Okay.
So there's a chance.
There's a chance. And then at 20, I do keep looking at Mesidor as something that would be super appealing to me. However, I do recognize that not getting to Kobe Dean probably has to put several linebackers back in play for me, assuming Sonny Styles is gone.
That would be my dream, but it's not happening.
Now you're probably back in the range where you're thinking about maybe C.J. Allen, maybe Anthony Hill, and maybe Jacob Rodriguez would probably be the three guys that I'd have to take a second pass on and make sure I'm sure. I mean, honestly, the rise of Jacob Rodriguez to where we're talking about him at 20 is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You would love to think you take 20, you trade back to like 28 and pick up a third.
Yeah, and then you do it.
And then you do it. But, at a certain point, don't draft for need, but draft for need.
Yeah.
Because we need to be good right now.
Yep.
And unless there's a Fred Warner trade in the future, they need some dudes at linebacker. And maybe C.J. Allen's that guy, but it might end up being one of these Texas products.
Awesome, man. Thank
Bob
you so
Sturm,
much.
The legend. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
This is
the
really
best, dude.
fun. You guys are great. Always fun.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be right back.
Bob Sturm. Just the best of them.
The best.
The absolute best.
Sports hero.
We'll have it back.
Yeah.
Something went down last night that was super fun, man. We saw a dude jump 83 points. Bam Adebayo, the only enjoyable Miami Heat moment in the city of Dallas in its existence, happened last night with Bam Adebayo dropping 83, broke Kobe Bryant's 81 points to be the second most ever behind Wilt Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
And, buddy, if you gave me many guesses, I would not have guessed Bam Adebayo.
I would be surprised when he drops 40.
Yeah.
83.
And he did that in the first quarter.
It felt borderline dystopian.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh?
To prove that point. Because we say things on this show. And we say things and you're like, Mike, you don't believe that. You don't believe you could make a whole list of dozens of people that you would have bought with scored 80 points. No, we can.
No,
we're about this life.
That's pretty easy. Actually.
This is pretty easy. We don't have nearly as much important stuff occupying space in our brains as we should. So to prove this point, Kobe Bryant dropped 81 back in 2006. It's been 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last 20 years, the following is an incomplete list of NBA players we believe were more likely to drop 80-plus points in an NBA game than Bam Adebayo.
And it would have been more ethical, I think. It would have been a more ethical 80.
You want to kick it off? Give me a name.
I mean, Embiid. I would have been convinced Joel Embiid would have dropped 80 at some point. He's so self-centered and just like a crazy lunatic.
Keep going.
Yeah. Just keep shooting threes and keep bullying. Like, if you've ever seen a player just keep bullying the other team when they have no one that can guard him, Embiid seemed like the perfect psychopath to get 80.
Embiid, let's go LeBron.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm shocked LeBron hasn't.
Yeah, right? I feel like that's the thing.
Yeah, he's got a big enough ego.
Okay.
I mean, Steph can do it on like 4 shots.
Yeah, how didn't Steph
Why didn't Steph?
Yeah, why did Steph do it? Why didn't Clay do it?
That's a great question. I'm trying to find Steph's highest scoring game. 62 for Steph. You can do better.
Look, Steph, you're not winning another ring.
What
Just
are you
devote your life to breaking this.
Yeah.
Like Rocky Montage style.
Yeah.
Train to break this record. Okay.
Yeah.
Steph, I said Clay. Give me another one.
I'm gonna throw one out there. It's really weird.
Huh.
Because he held the 3-point record, made threes in the game for a while.
Okay.
Donyell Marshall. Just keep shooting threes,
I don't think
baby.
He played after 2006. I don't think he was around.
Just keep shooting,
He was
baby.
retired.
He was around. He was around.
He was around after 06?
He was around, definitely. Absolutely.
All right, fine.
He was on a fantasy basketball team of mine in 05.
Okay, all right, fine. Donyell Marshall.
Yeah.
I'll keep naming obvious ones. You know what? Screw it. Luka, man. Luka got 72.
Yeah.
Let's go.
73.
73?
73, yeah.
73. So, why not? Why not Luka?
I feel like Roddy B could have done it at some point. He had a 40, didn't he? That's like half the way.
I love how I'm trying to name real players. You're just like
I'm just naming.
You're like whatever, man. Walt Williams had that one night. Could have been Walt Williams.
This is the real ball knowers.
The real ball knowers know.
They know what I'm talking about.
I will give you a ball knower name who I legitimately believe could have done this. Michael Redd.
Okay.
Michael Redd was doing stuff.
I'm here for it.
Michael Redd could have done this.
I feel like it's a shame to James Harden's career that he hasn't done this.
Yeah.
Like, what are you about? This is your whole deal.
Dude, how's it Russ done this?
Yeah.
Just shameless shot hunting for 3 hours?
He can't hit threes.
You know what? You know why it is too? Here's the thing. This worked at the end. If you watch this game, Bam's teammates were just champs. And they're just like, go do what you're going to do. None of Russ's teammates ever liked him enough to give him carte blanche like that for 3 hours.
That's true.
Nobody ever liked Russ to be like, you're going to do this shit again.
That's a good call. No one's setting one screen on the 3-point line for him.
Nope.
Not happening. Jokic feels like he could do it and like not even notice.
He also feels like he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to, right?
He would just be like, it's beneath me.
He would do it on accident. He would do it on accident and be like, oh no, I've over 50. Stop the game. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, no, I got to go home. I got to see my horse.
I gotta get home
the guy who actually, I really believe, speaking of, we didn't name the other MVP of the trio. How did KD not do this? Man?
Yeah. Greatest pure scorer, I think, of the last 20 years.
Probably,
but hasn't done 70 in a game, has he? I don't know what his career high is.
No, it's like low 60s, something like that.
Low 60s, okay. Dame feels like a natural. Dame time, I mean, that was a real thing. That was a real like, just catch fire out of nowhere. Because he could shoot the three from anywhere, and he could create his own shot. He could do it off the dribble.
Yeah, and he'd throw it on you anyway. It wasn't that he could. It's that he would, what you least expect, it was like a sneak attack.
Yeah.
Dude, how do we live in Dallas and not say Dirk?
Yeah.
Dirk.
Dirty could do it. Dirty could do it against the right team. He wouldn't do it. He would never do it, though.
He would not dare.
Never.
Gentleman.
He would get to 60 and turn around and be like, I feel bad about this. This isn't right.
Yep. Nope.
Donovan Mitchell feels like a pretty obvious one. Devin Booker would do the most unethical.
He tried last year.
83.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? He tried real hard.
He's tried every year.
Yeah, he does.
He has a 70-point game.
He's a Kobe disciple. This is what he wants.
He has a 62-point game. He is an absolute bucket merchant in March and April when the other team is checked out. And that's the only time he scores like that.
Apologies to my wife, who is a Phoenix Suns fan.
Won't do it in the playoffs.
Devin Booker.
Won't really show up for you in the playoffs.
Mad and glare at Mike the next time she sees him for saying such things.
He was great. So good. They never made it to like a conference finals or anything. Like
they made it NBA finals. They lost to Giannis.
They did?
Yeah.
So that was very forgettable.
Speaking of Giannis.
That was forgettable.
Giannis could do it.
Giannis could do it easily. Yeah.
Look, Bam is just like poor man's Giannis. So Giannis could do it.
That's true. Kyrie.
Absolutely could do it. Prime at his peak when the number 1 overall pick got traded for him, Kevin Love.
Okay. Dude, he was a random number generator in all the categories.
He had a lot of fun double-doubles back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, he'd sneak in some triple-doubles. When he was
still
chunky with the Wolves.
Yep.
Before
Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's some sickos in here, like Bradley Beal.
Yeah. Oh, Brad Beal could do it.
Brad Beal would love to.
Brad Beal won a scoring title.
Yeah.
Jerry Stackhouse won a scoring title. Let's put him on there.
Put Stack in there.
Oh, dude, you want one? Here's one who could do it and would have no conscience about any of it. Steph Marbury.
Oh, he would love it.
That'd be the best night of his life.
He would absolutely.
To be fair, it's the best night of Bam Adebayo's life too. But that's kind of just like an accident that this happened. I think Steph would be like, "This was all by design."
If I'm actually logging into a prediction market for the first time ever and starting an account, Cam Thomas. Nets, now Buck.
What?
You have to know the Cam Thomas history, dude.
I know there was some exciting stuff back at LSU back in the day, but
you know which? Are you talking about the Cam Thomas, right?
I think I am.
Okay, the guy that's a Buck now that was a net.
Yeah, he went to LSU. Yeah. He had some weird scoring lines back then.
Dude, he is the most ruthless. Drop 40 on you, never pass the ball. Like he's
not good.
He's a legend.
A legendary, not good player. I'm talking about good players.
No, I don't care if he's good or not. 80 points says you're good.
I don't think he's getting 80.
No, I mean he has some crazy totals though. Like go look up Cam Thomas's career highs with the Nets.
Okay, you are inspiring me though, because the other answer, we're going down this lane of just he's got to run a random stuff. Jeremy Lin, baby. Linsanity. Yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. AD. I'm surprised AD only has a 159 point game. Looking at the numbers.
Got to be on the floor to record more of those.
I know, but Pelicans AD, dude.
Pelicans AD was a monster.
The entire
Bubble AD was a monster.
The entire thing was him. The whole boat was made of him.
We got a shot. I'm ashamed of myself that we've gone this far and not shout out my favorite NBA player of all time. Allen Iverson could have done this.
Yeah, AI. Well,
AI would have done it. Look, Bam did it the hard way. Bam went to the line a bunch. AI would have done 60 free throws.
Yeah.
He wasn't hitting the threes. It was just I'm going to run into you all night. And I'm going to feel like terrible after this, but I'm still going out till 7:30 in the morning after this to celebrate. And it would have been amazing.
Yep.
It would have been amazing.
In that ilk, I mean, there's a couple dudes that would line up next to him and say, let me try the T-Mac. Tracy McGrady.
T-Mac, that was next.
To drop 80 on somebody's
The other one, one of my favorite dudes to watch score, and the epitome of a guy who other people It tells me a lot about your basketball sensibilities, what you think about Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
It tells me a lot about your basketball sensibilities, what you think about Carmelo Anthony.
Okay.
Because there are people who are just like, oh, he didn't play defense, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that dude played mid-range prettier than anybody in the last 20 years besides Dirk. I fucking loved it. I don't care what his flaws are. That dude was cool, and I liked watching him score the basketball. The end.
Right behind KD in terms of pure scoring.
Yeah,
like just
amazing pure scorer. Anybody who thinks otherwise isn't cool.
The bucket.
If you don't think Carmelo Anthony was cool, you're not cool.
Yeah, I think an obvious just overpower every single person, which he never played enough minutes in a game.
Yeah,
by design. Yao Ming
only takes one night.
It'd be the funniest. It'd be the funniest 80 because it would be 40 layups.
Yeah, it'd have been sick. Another one of he theoretically could go on this kind of heater in a game that doesn't matter at all is Trae Young.
Trae Young would light it up.
At a game you never cared about.
Some games like that.
Well, yeah, he's like mini Steph, right?
Yeah.
So he would do it in a game you would never care about ever again because that's his destiny.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Gil Arenas.
Oh yeah, buddy.
He would
absolutely.
He would trade years off his life to drop 80.
You know who else would? Antoine Walker.
Yeah,
shimmy it up.
That would
baby.
be 33s. Dude.
Yeah, and he would love every second. He'd milk that forever.
It'd be 33s. Kemba. I feel like
Kemba, dude,
deserves.
I do love that. Like, I mean, was Kemba's last NBA game that random explosion in Dallas on that 10-day?
Maybe. That might have been, dude.
Which is a great way for Kemba to go out. It's very fitting for his career.
Oh, it works.
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, I could see. Yeah. No arguments there. It'd be a very pretty.
It'd be gorgeous.
It'd be like I keep thinking now you got me locked into these like 2008 players.
Yeah, it's a really long list in the last 20 years.
Yeah, like
really long.
Like Rashard Lewis.
Oh, he was on my list for sure. I had Rashard Lewis
there.
coming up on one of the ones you forget about.
He's up.
He's also up there with he would take the right night for the threes, but everything else he had a real bag. Anton Jameson.
Yeah. Both Anton and Antoine.
And still in my favorite goofy, I had to ask Dirk about it, Mavs team in the last 25 years.
Yeah,
I had to ask Dirk
wow.
He was like, that's a deep cut. I was like, yeah, but that team was weird, bro.
What are you talking about these guys for?
Fin Dog?
Yeah.
Power drives and some threes.
Before Dirk got there.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and look, to be fair, okay, I'm saying post 06. Finley post 06, the legs weren't there anymore. Yeah. This was Finley. This is San Antonio era Finley. He couldn't have done it. But if we're going San Antonio guys, Manu,
yeah, maybe.
Manu could shoot.
Never played enough minutes.
I'm saying one night. Bam doesn't usually play like 47 minutes, but you get on the right heater, they're just going to keep you in.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking Mavs, Jamal Mashburn,
early
career.
Okay, yeah. No. We're being ethical about this post 06. Give me somebody else.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Cat. Seems like he's trying to score 80 every night.
He really wants to do that. JB, could JB do this? Jalen Brunson?
He's got a 60-point game.
Yeah, Jalen could do it.
Which is pretty impressive. We're giving it to Jalen,
yeah.
Oh my God, how did we not think of this guy? Hold on. Brandon Ingram.
I will
more than anything.
I will see your Brandon Ingram, which would be the tackiest version of this.
Yes.
And I will go to the other end with a Brandon who would do the coolest version, which is Brandon Roy.
Roy would be fun.
Brandon Roy, everybody loved Brandon Roy. Everybody felt bad for Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy deserves to have this number. You know what?
Yeah.
And there's a dude who deserves to have this, man. Brandon Roy, whose knees were shredded, who I thought was going to end the Dirk era in that Portland series. I was like, oh God, Brandon Roy just ruined the whole thing.
I was like the person I remember doing a show for Mike Fisher. DallasBasketball.com. And I was the one person that predicted us getting out of that round agaget the Blazers.
You were correct. And you and I met like 2 months later. That was at Mike Fisher's show. That's the first time we ever were in the same room.
I feel like Aldridge could drop 80 might be a lot for Aldridge. 60, I think Aldridge might have a 60.
But again, we're in the Bam zone of like the stretch bigs who could shoot, who you never suspect, but on the right night. So if you say Aldridge, I also say Chris Bosh.
Yeah, Bosh is in there.
Because Bosh was like better Aldridge.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shea is the obvious.
Shea, we're not even talking about Shea, right?
I think he's like the obvious one that would break it.
Oh, I mean, look, again, we're going with bigs who could do things you wouldn't expect. Wemby, why not? Why not Wemby?
Oh, yeah, Wemby could.
Why not Wemby?
Absolutely. Am I out of names?
I'm not. I can keep doing this.
Boogie would drop 80 on you.
Oh, it'd be great.
So
that'd be pretty cool.
Upset.
Yeah, he'd be
just
pouting.
Pissed the entire
pissed he did
time.
that to you.
Yeah.
Pissed he had to show up for work and do that whole deal to you. Peja
would light it up. It would take so few shots It would be all corner threes.
I also, do you want me to keep going names? Do you want to keep alternate? I got more.
Yeah, keep going.
I like that we have unintentionally shaded Kevin Garnett this long. I like that. That makes me a little happy deep down inside.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I kind of dig it. Paul Pierce.
Pierce could, yeah.
I also like even more than unintentionally shading Kevin Garnett is us shading Dwayne Wade.
Yep. Not a winner. What do you want from me?
Was
not a good player.
Yeah, but he could have. Could Nash have done it?
No.
He never would have wanted to.
No,
he never would have wanted to. But I do think Amari Stoudemire could have.
Yeah.
In that big man, right night,
crazy
explosive situation.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be very painful to watch because it'd be like.
There'd be some dunks, though.
It'd be them mutilating everyone in a pick and roll over and over and over and over.
There would be some dunks involved in the Amari version of this. And that would be cool. Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson would love to.
Like, what, 10-time All-Star Joe Johnson?
He would, yeah.
He'd get kicked out of that whole deal.
He's got a decade of
God.
Steve Francis is
somewhere
shaking his fist at the screen.
I will always love Stevie Franchise. I'm trying to think.
Allen Houston would absolutely love to
I think he was like done in 06 though, wasn't he? I think he was like mostly done. That was like a late 90s, early 2000s deal. Sharif Abdur-Rahim was kind of that same boat. I think he was probably on the way out by then.
Yeah.
But Reefer Madness had some good ones with the Hawks back in the day. Again, right guy, right night. But this basically sums up his entire career because, like, Rasheed Wallace is the poster child for me of, like, when we talk about what you could do versus what you did, Rasheed Wallace was more talented than all of the power forwards in the power forward golden generation. I don't think there's ever been a more skilled four-man that could do everything. Yeah. But he was just a weirdo, man.
Yeah. Just different kind of dude.
But right night, hell yeah.
Yeah. Zach Randolph would be the funniest.
I'd love that. That'd be great. I would have a good time with that. Also,
so good.
Obligatory. It has to be said. If Tim Duncan really wanted to do it, he probably could have done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, really, the funny thing is, like, now we've gotten this far down the well, and maybe you'd put a tally on this. Maybe you do the ding sound every time I name a name, so we can figure out how many times this actually happened. But the best guy who never could have done it is Shaq, because they would foul him and he would miss all the free throws.
Yeah.
But Shaq is better than almost all these dudes, and he never could have pulled it off.
Never possible.
Would not have happened.
No.
I bet there's more, but we're gonna call it. Because the point is, last night was really weird, and I had a great time watching this weird thing. We know too much about sports, like. The best part about sports as a kid, pre-analytics, is that there was more variance and more teams doing things that didn't make sense and more we don't know stuff. The mysteries shouldn't all be solved. The magic shouldn't all be gone. You got to have random occurrences, and this was such a fun random occurrence. And by all accounts, Bam Adebayo, good dude. So sure.
Yeah, I love Bam.
Yeah.
I love Bam.
Yeah, that was great.
His wife's awesome, too, and a badass.
Their kids will dominate the entire basketball world forever.
That's going to be the greatest generation of basketball players that's ever lived. But yeah, I do like the silliness of, number one, going for it.
Yes.
Whenever it starts
shamelessly going for it, which is what I would do. For the record, I would shamelessly go for it.
Yeah. Act like I'm an ethical guy, and then I'm like, I walk out of the first quarter of the 40 points, I'm like, I'm getting this thing tonight. That's all that's
absolutely. Yeah.
But that's fun. We'll be talking about the Bam. It'll be like a punchline.
Yeah, we'll talk about it forever.
Everything else in this NBA season has not been funny or fun.
It is the first line in his Wikipedia entry forever. He could win a ring. He can make more all-defense teams. He can make more all-star games. The first line in his Wikipedia entry is he scored 83 points in an NBA game. Yeah. And, dude, hell yeah.
that rules.
Hell yeah, let's go,
We do need to find a new bit besides the hold the paper up thing.
Yes.
I'm ready for a new bit.
What about the cell phone screen?
Yeah, okay, that works.
That's more modern. That's
more something besides the hold paper up.
That's more 2026.
We don't have to do that. And by the way, I don't think Wilt scored 100.
Oh, we're doing one of those. We didn't land on the moon, and Wilson score 100. We'll come back next week with Mike Marshall conspiracies.
We landed on a different moon.
The one thing that I know for certain is we had a great time with all of you guys. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for checking in with us over the beautiful Haymaker Studios. Thank you to Matt Sizik. Thank you to Julie and Dean Barry running the show on the ones and the twos. We will see you next week. Have a great one.